I remember there was a time when we was kings and queens, prophets and rulers, judging the earth. But now we stuck at the bottom of the totem pole. Where did we go wrong as a people? I think our people need to understand this with a wake-up call and give them understanding on what's going on. So bring it.
Early morning, rise up, open your eyes up, looking in the mirror, it gets no clearer. Cause we don't understand our own selves, drowning in sorrow with empty Hennessy bottles upon the shelf. Cause everybody wanna be a king, selling out their soul for this mean green cream thing. Paper chasing but not facing the facts that as a nation we all done got lax, and letting the devil control us. And thinking like them damn Africans, they sold us. We in captivity because they hold us. Working hard with heavy burdens on our shoulders. Man, I thought we was some soldiers, but every second that I look, we getting creamed like Folgers.
Okay, shalom Israel. Shalom. Welcome to another class with the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. All right, we're located here at 8524 South Braeswood in Houston, Texas. 77071. We also have our classes in San Antonio, Texas at 4219 Centergate Street, San Antonio, Texas 78217. All right. Also, we have classes in Albuquerque if you're interested at 501 Copper Avenue, Northwest Albuquerque, New Mexico 87102. And we also have classes in Trinidad. Okay, at 17 Jacamar Street, Fanny Village, Point Fortin, and that's Trinidad. Okay, and we have a High Holy Day coming up, so everybody should be getting prepared for that. Hanukkah is coming up. From December 10th to December 17th, okay? So just a little heads up, we won't be having classes. Let me check that also. We won't be having class on that day. Right, so from the 10th to the 17th, we won't be having classes. I guess it'll be that, so the 10th, be that Monday, yeah. So the 11th, we won't, 13th and 14th, and then the 15th, 16th, yeah. Basically that whole week, we won't be having class. We commemorate the High Holy Day by every night getting together and celebrating with each other, eating and feasting. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing during the week of Hanukkah. So let me send this link out real quick, just to let y'all know that we're going to be doing that. So what else we got on here? We have classes Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Okay, Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10, Fridays from 6 to 9, and Sabbath morning class, which is, they've really been good on our Sabbath class. Sabbath class, is a lot of information is coming out. We go through the reading, but we go further also. We touch it a little bit in the Josephus. We touch on a lot of history, also answer questions, all right? So just to keep y'all knowledge up, you need to make it to Sabbath class. That's where a lot more information come on. There's no classes from 10 to 2, but if we go over, we go over, all right? So check that out. Kids classes every Sunday from 11 to 12. Classes in Trinidad, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and Saturdays. Okay, we have classes in Austin. I asked Priest Bonabata to give me an address for that. Check us live here please like, share, subscribe, click on the notification button, and that way you get our classes when they do come up. Our cable shows will be on there. And everything we do will be on there. Check out our 5 minutes of wisdom. She'll put a link in there so you can click on that. So check that out. Also, Mashaba does Blog Talk Radio. We got our Blog Talk Radio, and it's blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba, which is MASHAHBA. And that's Monday through Friday from at 9:30 a.m. All right? And they're recorded too. Of course, all this stuff is recorded, so you can go on there and, check out the old classes. What else we got here? All right, my number is 281-707-2737. What happened? Right. My number's 281-707-2737. If y'all want to get a hold of me, you want to get at me, bro, you can hit me up with any questions. Sending this out. Okay. What else? Passover's coming up, so be aware of that. I know a lot of new people don't understand that, how important that is, but to us, that's one of the most important high holy days. That's going to be coming up in late March, early April. So we prepare now. The lamb, the location, the garments, all that stuff we do ahead of time. So if you want to be a part of that, you can go check it out on our channel. Look at the old Passovers. All of ISB, HBK camp come together. And we eat, we feast, have a good time. All right? Garments, if y'all need those, Israel Wear on Facebook. All right? The sisters are always doing garments, so you can go on there and ask about it. All right? And then if you want to give any donation, any alms, any offerings, any books, papers, pens, pencils, Bibles, apocryphers, computers, or anything of that nature, you can go ahead and send it to 8524 South Braeswood. Or if you want to just give a donation, you can go on isbhbk@gmail.com and send it. You can wallet it, or you can go on the Wells Fargo account, which will be on the bottom of the screen right there. So what we do is we start out with questions, and we open up with questions every class. So if anybody has any questions on any topic, now's the time. And if you look at our old classes, we hit up a lot of questions also. So there's some of the common questions, common internet questions that go on. We give you a link that we answer that. If not, if it's not as common, we'll go over it again in class for you. All right, but we answer, all those common questions. Is the so-called white man Japhet? Is the Mamzars? Are all Israelites dark-skinned? What else? Something a little more common, like internet. Those things that are common with new people that you get a little confusion on out there. All right, so hit us up. We're only gonna wait a little bit to see if y'all have any questions, and if no questions, we'll go. Priest Zionala will go into his class for tonight. All right. So let me know if we get anything few seconds. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. We'll wait a few seconds if y'all got any classes. Do me a favor, man. Y'all, listen, we get maybe about 19 people a night. We want y'all to send the link out. Send it to your Facebook. Every time class goes on, send it to your Facebook. Send it to your Instagram, your Hebrew Israelite Instagram. You know, these cats be trying to have 2 Instagrams. Yeah, the secretive cats, the sly cats. Yeah, separate lives. Yeah, incognito. So send it to your social media sites, man. Get them out. If y'all are dealing with people and you want to deal with a lot of topics, go to our channel, man. We've got over 9,000 subscribers. That's a lot of subscribers. We have a lot of videos that got a lot of views. We don't post a lot of our street speaking because that's flooded. A lot of that is flooded on the internet. So we don't post a lot of the street speakings. You know, and really, if you ain't in New York, a lot of the street speakings are kind of boring out here in the South. It's not like New York where you got constant flow of people and you're going to get in these conversations. So we don't post a lot of our street speakings, man. Or a lot of our encounters. You know, so, but we do post a lot of our classes, cable shows, our 5 minutes of wisdom. We flood the airwaves with those. So let me see, if anybody has any question on there. Ezekiel 16:4. Let's go there. Ezekiel 16 verse 4. Shalom, shalom to everybody on. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters that support us and come on here and really want to learn. We appreciate y'all for your positive input. You know, once in a while we might get a few knuckleheads on there, but otherwise it's a lot of the same people tuning in, so we appreciate y'all. All right, so where we at?
Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 4.
Go ahead.
And that's in Mike.
Well, no, if he's reading, you don't have to. No, because it's going to go loud anyway.
Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 4. And as for thy nativity, in the day thou was born, thy navel was not cut.
All right, well, go to 16:1.
Come on. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abomination.
So that's why you got to read. You're going to get the understanding a lot of these chapters if you start reading them in context. So verse 1 is telling us plain out what?
Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abomination.
So cause Jerusalem to know her abominations. So pertaining to this question, Sister Jasmine, this is talking about Israel and reminding us of our abominations, the filthy, wicked things we've done. Go ahead.
And say, thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Right. Now, why is it saying this? Read verse 1 again.
Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abomination.
Right, to know her abominations. So what he's doing is he's rebuking them for the wicked things they've done. And now he's in an ancient way finna talk crap about them. That's what he's doing. He's in an ancient way showing us that we ain't, you know how brothers go in on people online, you know, we have that way of going in like the Most High is whooping your butt. You know what I mean? The Most High is on your ass. The Most High is correcting you, right? The Most High is breaking you down, right? Well, Ezekiel's doing that here, but he's doing it poetically. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and say, thus said the Lord God unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Right, so he's reminding us that, listen, when I found Abraham was in the land of, this was the land of Canaan. He was in Sumeria. And who was ruling in Sumeria? Who was ruling in Sumeria? Dun, 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 dun. Come on, are you scholars? We've been going over it. We've been reading about Abraham in Sabbath class. Where did Abraham dwell? Mesopotamia, right? Right? But remember, you had, this was also during in the land of Canaan, you know, after the name came, right? But we're talking about the same area. Sumeria, right? Who was ruling? Who was the biggest demon back then? Who was one of the first kings? And I say one of the first because we know Adam was a king, right? But who was one of the first wicked kings that the Bible talks about? Nimrod.
Yep.
Nimrod. So he's reminding us, listen, you was amongst none but Canaanites, heathens, right? These nations that were defiled. This is where Abraham come from. But the Most High, remember, called him out of that, right? So he's mocking Israel and showing them, listen, you were nothing. Before you, if I wouldn't have looked at Abraham, you would have just been another people mixed amongst heathens. It's like when you look at us today, you look at Israelites today. If the Most High don't call you, and he hasn't chosen you, you are like a heathen. Right? Yeah. You're out there in the world, you're doing the things of the world, you're following the customs of the world, right? You're thinking like the world. That's why Paul had to come back and say, he that is a Jew is inwardly. Why? Because, yeah, you were born an Israelite, but you act like a little demon, little heathen. You tat your body up. You look, your haircuts look like Africans. Your clothes look like transvestites. Your piercings look like lesbians. Right? That's why when you come in, you're supposed to be transformed, right? So he's reminding us, man, y'all were heathens. That's why looking in the scriptures, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. You're known by the way you walk, you talk, and you dress. So how do you look? What type of persona you want to put on, right? Go ahead.
The birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Right.
Thy father was an Amorite.
Right, but we know that Abraham wasn't an Amorite. So that's why you got to know your Bible. Abraham was a Hebrew. But what he's saying is this is where you came from. And as we get down into it, he's reminding us, without me, you're nothing. You know, I made you. Go ahead.
God, and thy mother and Hittite.
Right.
And as for thy nativity, in the day thou was born, thy navel was not cut.
Right. So think about it. Now, remember, he's taking us back to our birth. Where were we birthed? We were birthed in Sumeria in Mesopotamia, right? Eber came from Mesopotamia. Salah came from Mesopotamia. All the way down to Terah, all the way down to Nahor, all the way down to Abraham. So he was reminding us, look at where you were amongst. Now, why did the Most High choose Abraham?
the law.
Right, because he was righteous, he kept the law, and he was the one man, and we read this in the Josephus last Sabbath class. He was the one man that out of all these heathenistic people in Mesopotamia, in Sumeria, he was the one man that believed in one God. Everybody else was serving idols. Everybody else was dealing with different philosophies and religions. But Abraham was the one man that served the one true God. Right? Yeah. So, obviously our neighbor was cut. There was some, we were civilized. We were civil. Abraham being the father of Israel, the forefather of Israel, we were a civilized people. We kept the laws. But the thing is that he's reminding us what we came out of. Because if it wasn't for Abraham, if it wasn't for the Most High choosing us, we would have been right wrapped up there with Nimrod, trying to build a tower to the Most High, and look around. We'd be like we look today. Big piercings in our ears, lip piercings like Hamites, faggots and lesbians like the Sodomites. That's Ham. That's where Canaan come from. Y'all see that?
Come on.
So he's just reminding us, listen, you were nothing. You were hanging around. You were amongst these people that were nothing. And if it wasn't for me, you would have grew up in this mire. You would have become the mire that you were brought up in. Because that's why he had to take Abraham out of Mesopotamia, right? He had to take him out of there because everybody was defiled and filthy. Go ahead.
Neither was thou washed in water to is it supple?
Neither was thou was. I'll pick it up.
Go ahead, pick it up.
Verse 4. For thy nativity in the day that thou was born, thy navel was not cut. Neither was thou washed in water to supple thee.
Right, to supple thee. Just showing you that, you know, the natural process of a birth, you would do what? You take the baby out of the womb and then you clean it. He's reminding us, y'all were filthy. Everything around you was dirty and nasty. All the nations that were surrounding you were dirty and nasty. All these ideas, without me, would have clinged to you. Like when you deal with a newborn child. Like when you sit a child in front of TV and let them binge on Netflix and YouTube. What are they going to be? They're going to be filthy like the movies. They're going to learn about homosexuality, lesbianism. They're going to learn about how that their identity doesn't matter, their nationality doesn't matter, their history doesn't matter, that we're one people, American. So he's reminding us, look what you were brought up in. Go ahead.
Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all.
Right. Well, you know, clean, nor swaddled, nor wrapped, like a deer, right? You know, you ever see that on YouTube where the deers pop out? Just blood and guts, and it looks like guts, but blood and placenta, and you know, it just gets up and shakes itself off. But you know what I mean? It's like it's like an animal, and that's what he's poetically saying to us, that without me, without the Most High, we would be just like all the other nations. He could have easily said, you know what? I'm choosing Ham. I'm choosing the Assyrians. The Assyrians were a great people, right? They were one of the first civilizations also. After Nimrod, you have the Assyrians. Remember, after Nimrod, you have the Assyrians, right? And we went in captivity under the Assyrians. So you're talking about great nations, right? Khan? But the Most High said, I choose you. Go ahead.
Verse 5. None I pitied thee.
Right.
To do any of these unto thee.
Right. See? You see, the Most High said nobody pitied you. But who did? Who pitied? Who pitied Israel?
Most High.
The Most High. You know, this is so we won't get too big for our britches. You know, you got a lot of Israelites that forget that we are all of the nation of Israel, right? But not everybody's going to be chosen. Not everybody's going to be saved. You know, they forget that it's easily the Most High can put you on the side of not being saved. So you got a lot of Israel like, oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. But you're not a Hebrew Israelite just because you dress like it. You got to be it in the spirit.
Done.
Or you're just like the nations. So this is to put us in check and remind us you're nothing without the Most High. Right? This is for those that, you know, get the knowledge and get the truth and act like the Most High owes you something. You know, you owe the Most High.
God.
You know, you were the one out there slinging dope, on drugs, running through men, running through women,
God.
running through men and women,
God.
right? On every drug, right? Mind gone, anxiety, suffering, mental pains and agony. So you're supposed to come in and realize what he's saying here.
God.
This is a good question. Go ahead.
Not I pitied thee.
Right?
To do any of these things unto thee.
Right?
To have compassion unto thee.
Right?
But thou wast cast out
in
the open field.
Right?
To the loathing of thy person.
Right, because when it says to the loathing of thy person, when you go back into the Josephus, it said Abraham, the Most High moved Abraham out because he was going around teaching. And he was dropping that there's one God, and they started to dislike him for that. They started to hate him for that. So the Most High was like, okay, let me get you out of here, because like Paul, like Peter, like Christ, what was going to happen? They're going to kill you, and you're the father of many nations. Through your seed, I'm going to make you a great nation. Let me get you out of here before they kill you. So he was a castaway. Nobody wanted him, but who? The Most High. The Most High had a plan for him. Go ahead.
In the day that thou wast born.
Read.
And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted
right.
in thine own blood.
Right. The Most High said he passed by you because you were called. But when were you called? You, brothers, man, Hebrew Israelites, they tripped me the hell out. You swear you were called when you was doing righteousness. No, when they was doing righteousness. Brothers come in the truth, they get a few scriptures and swear they were called, and when the Most High called them, they were shining bright with white robes. You know, Hebrew Israelite gangster disciple for the Most High, you were following all the scriptures. Man, Most High called you and you was a crispy little niglet.
Just spoke them.
You get a few damn scriptures and then you want to condemn everybody. Israel trips me the hell out. You want to act like, yeah, they wicked, huh? Con, we're all wicked, bro. You were just there a week ago. Shut the hell up and be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Right? But it trips me out. You get these brothers, man, that swear they're the law-abiding citizens. Like they want to check everybody in the law. They be the most simple-minded, most out-of-order ones. But they're the most, what? So-called diligent ones to like cut everybody else. But when they get cut, what happened? They just disappear. So the scriptures is reminding us what? We were nothing. You got to come in here and you got to be humble, man. When we teach Israel, when we teach our people out in the world, we got to remember you just came from that. So you gotta be able to approach them in a way of understanding. And if they're off, stubborn, stiff-necked, wicked, and hard-headed, that's fine. But that's not for you. The Most High already said was prepared for them. It's not personal. Stop making it personal. The Most High is going to deal with them. So what do we have to do? Tell them and move on. right?
God.
Our job is to have compassion on the ignorant. That's what the scripture says. Our job is to have compassion on the ignorant. We get brothers and sisters and say, I don't understand this person. You're like, Khan, it's funny because you're just like that person. But you don't got to say that. Somebody told me that yesterday. Somebody's like, man, I don't see what's up with this brother. He's just wild. And I'm like, you were like that like a week ago? Yeah, like you didn't want to listen, didn't want to hear, you were stubborn as hell. And yeah, you clicked, it snapped in you, you were like, man, I'm going to stop BSing. But you got to understand that your job is now to have compassion on the next knucklehead that's stubborn and stiff-necked and keep telling them until he or she disappears. When they're not around, you can't do nothing. But when they're there, you got to keep having compassion and forgiving them for their little mistakes and helping them back up and getting them back on the path. So I just wanted to say that because this is what the Most High is reminding us what we are. He didn't see you when you were clean. He's seen us in our mire, in our blood, filthy, nasty, and dirty. Yeah, selling dime bags. You had to get shot. You had to get cast into jail. You had to get like 75 tickets. Your car needed to be towed.
Parents start putting you at the house.
Yeah. And for the ones that thought they were clean, let's get it right. The Most High said he didn't call the whole but the sick. So if you're here, that means you're sick. So stop thinking that, oh, you know what, I wasn't doing none of that. Oh, but you're worse. They might have been outwardly demons, but you're an inward demon. You got the quiet ones that, I didn't smoke weed, I didn't smoke cigarettes, I was a Christian. Nigga, please. You weren't a Christian. You was a Christian hoe. You know what I mean? You was that type. You know what I mean? Trying to act like you're better, trying to act like you know, and guess what? You found out what? You didn't know nothing. You got more pride. Those are the ones that got more pride, they're harder than the outward ones. The outward ones are easy. You know, the ones that are loud, disgruntled, you correct them, you can know their faults. But then the inward ones, they're what? Silently thinking they know every damn thing. They're the hard ones. So don't think you were good and you were clean. You were filthy too. That's why you're called. Read it again. Where you at?
Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
And when I passed by thee,
Go ahead,
and saw thee polluted in thine own blood,
read.
I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood,
Read.
live.
Then he said, live. He looked at us. He had compassion on us in our filth. And that's what we're doing to the brothers and sisters out there in the world. We're looking at them and we're having compassion. And we're saying live. We're giving them the knowledge to live. Go ahead.
Yea, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live.
Right, you read that.
God, that was the last precept.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field.
Right.
And thou hast increased.
Right. So that's what he's going into. That's what this chapter is about. Now he's segueing into letting us know how we were blessed and everything we've gotten. This is that chapter when you get that Israelite brother and sister that act like they made it happen. They got everything by them and they got the job. They got the $17 an hour and nobody can tell them anything. You didn't do nothing. The Most High gave it to you. So we got to give thanks and glory to the Most High. So hopefully that answers your question, Jasmine. That is what the chapter is starting to go into. We're not going to go over the whole chapter. We're just answering that question. So what's the next question?
This is from Joshua Martin. As a white man, I assume I'm a Gentile according to what you say, and I'm okay with that. I know Jesus wasn't white, and I'm aware of the white man agenda that governs this country.
Right.
As a Gentile, I would appreciate a few minutes of wisdom / guidance / direction as far as my role in God's plan and what the first things I should do are in my spiritual walk.
What did the Gentiles do, any of these Gentiles do, to the Hebrews? What was their job? Huh? What was the Gentiles' job? What did Ruth do?
She followed our ways.
She what?
Followed our ways.
She followed our ways. And hoped that the Most High had mercy on them. Right?
Done.
Because, yes, destruction is coming. You know, and that's why I always tell Israelites that no matter, think about it. When you deal with Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah, did God send a UFO and say, you know what, you're my righteous sons, come my children? Or did they go into captivity with their people? They went into captivity. And these were the prophets, sawed in half, hung upside down, crucified, head chopped off. So, you know, the Most High is no respecter of persons. And as a nation, we've suffered as a nation. That's why we're still in captivity. So the only thing you could do right now is first of all, like Ruth, put on the laws, the commandments, the statutes, and see how you can further helping the knowledge. What could you do to help the knowledge? You know, so give me that in Ruth real quick. Right, Ruth. Just showing you about her and what she did and how she forsook her gods. She forsook all the things that she grew up with in her land. She denounced these things. So that's what has to happen. Now, I'm not saying that because you do that, you're gonna sit on the 12 thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. That's for the Israelites. But what I'm saying is, you know, pray that the Most High has mercy, you know, on you. But that's all you can do now. Really, what you can do is just make sure you're trying to follow the laws and commandments. Make sure you're trying to do the will of the Most High. How could I support this agenda of getting the truth out? See? And we'll go there too. We'll go to Ezekiel. Give me that one, Ariel. Go to Ezekiel 33, but where are we at in Ruth real quick? You got Ruth? Okay, go to the one in Ruth real quick.
I'm at Ruth chapter 1 and verse 16.
Ruth 1 and 16. Go ahead.
And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee.
Right, because she was like, listen, my sons are dead. Go back home. Okay? This was, what was her name?
Naomi.
Naomi, right? Go ahead.
And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee. Or to return from following thee.
Right.
For whither thou goest, I will go.
Right.
And whither thou lodgest, I will lodge.
So there you go. You see, the spirit on her was, listen, I'm going to follow y'all. I'm going to follow you. Go ahead.
Thy people shall be my people.
There you go. Go ahead.
And thy God, my God.
There you go. Go ahead.
Where thou diest, will I die.
Go ahead.
And there I will be buried.
Go ahead.
And the Lord do so to me. And more so also, if aught but death part thee from me.
Right.
And when she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, she left speaking unto her.
Right. So, just showing you that that's what you have to do. You know, we have to understand this. Every nation, every kingdom is going to bow. Now, you can either bow willingly, you can either submit now or in the kingdom to come. We know that a lot of nations are going to be destroyed. A lot of them are going to be servants and slaves, like the scriptures say in Isaiah 34, Isaiah 14, Isaiah 60, Isaiah 65. And the prophecies are, there's going to be some destruction and some slavery going on. But right now, you better try to make your place where you want to be at, and hopefully the Most High has mercy on you. Go to Ezekiel.
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel what?
33 and verse 15.
Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 15.
Ezekiel 33 verse 15.
If the wicked restore the pledge.
Right. Now, remember, I know a lot of you Gentiles figure, well, that wasn't me. That was my ancestors. We understand that. But just like us, it wasn't us that, you know, it wasn't us that disobeyed the Most High per se. It was our forefathers. But we have reaped the benefits of our forefathers and being rebellious, and we're still in captivity over 400 years later. I mean, 400 years later in this captivity, but when you really look at it, if you start from the Assyrian Empire, we've been in slavery, captivity over and over and over again because we've been stubborn and stiff-necked. So as you see that the Most High, He still punishes us as nations. As nations. I want you to really think about that. None of the prophets, all these holy men, you know, it wasn't like John got lifted up in a chariot from the island of Patmos. No, he went in captivity under the Romans, right? And it was killed. It was killed. He was killed. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, all these prophets, man, if they weren't killed by Israelites, Stephen was stoned. Paul was, so you got to see that as a nation, we suffered as a nation. So I know you're saying that, well, I didn't do that. Well, your people, your nation did. And the only thing you can do right now is try to stand for righteousness and the right thing. Right? So if the wicked do what?
If the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed.
Right.
Walk in the statutes of life.
Right. Walk in the statutes of life. Go ahead.
Without committing iniquity.
Go ahead.
He shall surely live.
Right. And the thing is that you can't give everything your forefathers stole back. You can't do. I mean, you can try, but they ain't gonna give it back. They ain't gonna. The UN is not going to come and say, hey, listen, we stole their identity, their nationality, we stole their history, we stole their archaeology, their anthropology. We told them they were niggas, spicks, spooks, wetbags, monkeys, coons, border jumpers, water beetles, what else? Wide nose, fried chicken, hot sauce eating, right? There's no way that you're going to take back what your people have done, but you can try to amend and show the Most High, ask the Most High to have mercy on you. So, you know, even when you look at the Israelites in a Gentile state of mind, when you look at Cornelius, he gave alms, he gave offerings, things like that. How are you going to get the truth out? How are you going to help? Or you just got to sit back and say, you know what, I can't do anything. You can. It's not ordained for you to teach, but you can help in other areas. So, you know, you can read the rest of that Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter, but it goes on to tell you about restoring the pledge and giving the things that were taken back. Okay? So, hopefully that helps out. All right? What else we got?
We have a question from Pam E. She says, Shalom, family, I have a question. Why aren't the Brazilians one of the 12 tribes?
Oh, the Brazilians are. Yeah. Asher, which is from Colombia. That's why in the sign it says Colombia to Uruguay. Because you're talking about along that whole stretch. That includes Brazil, right? Those are Hebrew Israelites. I mean, when you get into your history, you find out that all those people along there, South America, are all what you call Indians, Native Americans. So when you get into their history, it goes right back to Hebrew Israelites. It doesn't matter what the Spanish put on us, whether it was Puerto Ricans, Cubans. When you look at all these, like the 9.5 tribes, really, they're all what you call Native Americans, right? Aztecs, Mayans, the Incas, the Toltecs, the Olmecs. Then you have, of course, the North American tribes, Cherokee, Chickasaw, Navajo, yeah, all the Pueblos and all that. So, yeah, you know what was funny is, what was crazy is this, that when you look at like the old pictures of the 9½, right? It's like all majority of the 9½ have a look. We look different from the tribe of Judah. You know what I mean? We didn't look like the tribe of Judah. You know, we had long hair. You know, some of us had beards. Some of us did. You know, and I'm not talking about, I know you're saying, well, that's because we were mixed. And I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about really the old Native Americans, like old pictures, like Geronimo. You can see, yeah, he was black. He was dark. But when you look at him, his features weren't like the tribe of Judah. You know, he looked a different way. So, you know, maybe the reason is because the Most High said everybody comes forth from the waters of Judah, right? But he wanted Judah to be he did make Judah the head tribe, right? He wanted Judah to stand out. You know what I mean? But I looked at that, I looked at all the tribes, and I'm like, dude, majority of the tribes look like, you know, have long hair, you know, they look native, right? What we would call today Native American, right? But yes, Colombia to Uruguay, those are all Israelites. So, you'll be of the tribe of Asher. Brazilians are the tribe of Asher. Okay? All right. What else?
We have another question. This question is from Ziana Rose. Shalom, I have a question. If you were married and divorced before being in the truth, can a woman get married again?
This is a common question. This is a common question we always get. All right? So, we talk about this a lot. So read it again.
It says, Shalom, I have a question. If you were married and divorced before being in the truth, can a woman get married again now that she's in the truth?
Yeah, if you're divorced. You know, remember this, man. Everything that we've done in the past without the law and coming back to the Most High, he winked at us. So give me that real quick. Go to Acts 17 real quick. Go to Acts 17 real quick. Yeah, so, of course.
Acts 17 and verse 30.
Yeah, and that's everything. The Most High has had mercy on all Israel. Was he going through all the questions? Listen, y'all brothers on there trying to go through and answer the questions. Y'all should have a little common courtesy. Huh? Right, Brother Robert, if you come in here to learn, look, watch, I'm going to even show you the scriptures. Go to Ecclesiastes 5 verse 1. Go to Ecclesiastes 5 verse 1.
Come on, Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 1.
Like I said, sometimes we get brothers and sisters. No, Ecclesiastes in the Bible.
Oh, please say.
Sometimes we get, you know, brothers in here don't know how that
Ecclesiastes chapter 5.
really at. Read that. Ecclesiastes 5 and 1.
Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High.
Right. This is for you, Robert, and this is for brothers and sisters that come in here, and then we're going to get to the next question. If you come in to learn, treat us like the white man. You know what I mean? When you go to the white man, you shut up, you sit down, and you listen. So you should have enough respect for your people, unless you're a teacher. And if you're a teacher, then why are you on here? You know what I mean? You need to be somewhere teaching. getting busy. That's what we're doing. So if you come out here to learn, then sit down and learn. That's what the scriptures say. Read it again.
Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High.
You know what he's saying here? He's saying watch yourself. When you go into the house of the Most High, watch how you move. Go ahead.
And be more ready to hear.
Be more ready to what?
To hear.
Read.
Than to give the sacrifice of food.
Well, the sacrifices of foods is speaking out of turn. So you got to be ready to listen. You came here to learn, then learn. Let them online learn. All right? That way we don't have to delete you. All right? Because you're just going to bring more confusion. They didn't come to listen to you. They came to get class. So you just bring, that's like somebody talking in the middle of class. It's just going to bring confusion. The scriptures say, let one man speak in the other, and he speaks and teaches, and then the other speaks and teach. We can't talk over each other, even online. If I'm talking and you're talking, how are they going to get the knowledge? I know it's common sense things our people don't know, and it's basic respect we don't have, but it's okay. We're gonna teach brothers and sisters. All right, so Robert, if you're here to learn, learn. All right, where are we at? The question about marriage.
Acts chapter 17, verse 30.
Go ahead.
In the time of this ignorance, the Most High winked at.
Right. In the time of what ignorance? Well, in the time of us being in the world. In the time of us, when you read up, it's specifically talking about idols and idolatry and serving other gods, whether it be fornication or whatever sin it was. At the time of this ignorance, the Most High did what?
Winked at.
He did what?
Winked at.
He winked at us. Go ahead.
But now commanded all men everywhere to repent.
But he commands everyone to repent. So yeah, the Most High is showing us that the things we did in the past, when we didn't have the knowledge, the Most High let that slide. Right? He let that go. For now, you can get it right. Now you can know in the scriptures, look in the scriptures, and you can start serving the Most High the correct way. Right? We thought, just like we were Christians and we were celebrating Christmas, Halloween, and Thanksgiving, now we're coming back and saying, no, to really be a follower of Christ, I got to put away certain things. So now you know that. Now you're going to know and you're going to find out what is true marriage. Now you're going to try to make the right choice and right decision before you get in this matrimony with this man. And that should be the first step. And we talked about that a lot when dealing with marriage. The first step is knowing that spiritually you're going to be a match. Then you can get into all that physical stuff way down the road. But the things in the past, he winked at. Go ahead.
Verse 31. Because he hath appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness.
Right. So there you go. So he winked at. Now he commands you to repent. Go to Ecclesiasticus 27:22.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 27 and verse 22.
I'm sorry. It's Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 23.
Wisdom of Solomon in chapter 11 and verse, you said 33?
23.
Verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
It says, but thou hast mercy upon all.
Go ahead.
For thou canst do all things.
Uh-huh.
And winkest at the sins of men.
Go ahead.
Because they should amend.
So he winked at our sins. He winked at our sins. And obviously, because he gave you the knowledge, he gave you the truth to change. Now he's giving you the information to change. So you did those things in the past. We were fornicators, we were idolaters, we were murderers, we were drug dealers, we were faggots, lesbians, we were all those things. But now he wants you to repent. Okay?
Con.
And when I say we, meaning Israel. All right? So, yeah, you're able to marry according to the scriptures. All right? Because the Most High is not holding you to those past things. All got anything to add to that? No. Okay. All right. So what's the next question?
The next question is, you have a brother, Demetrius Williams. He says, are the 12 tribes related in some way to the stars in the sky?
Are the 12 tribes related to the stars in the sky? No. No. Was that it?
No.
All right, next one.
Okay, Isaiah 8:20. This is Ross Dean. Isaiah 8:20. If it's not according to the word, it has no light. The Star of David is not mentioned in the Bible. Where does wearing the symbol come from, and what makes it okay to wear?
Okay, so this is one of those common ones we told you about that we always get, because the misinformation is that, first of all, we're wearing this, I don't think we got it on today, but I think I got some on right here. The Star of David, we don't call it the Star of David, we call it a lily, or we call it a pomegranate. All right, so you have to understand what a star is, and we just went over this. So we can go and give you a link on that and try to find the longest one class on that and send it to them, because we always, that's a common thing. It's a common thing. Why? Because this started about maybe 5 years back. You had certain brothers that wanted to separate and make themselves different. So the only way I can make myself different is demonizing something that he was doing himself. So with that's where that comes from. The thing is that a lot of this information, a lot of this coming up is without information or understanding. So yeah, there's no star in the Bible of David, right? But we don't wear the Star of David. They gave it the name of the Star of David, but we look at it as a lily or pomegranate, which the scriptures say we wore on our garments. Now, if you show them an image of a lily and you show them an image of a pomegranate, you can see at the top of the pomegranate, and we could go to that one, Zion. The other Zion. I'm messing with you. That's just old people stuff. You know how when your mom start calling you all
the wrong names?
Everybody name. That's how I knew I was getting old. I'm like, why am I calling everybody the wrong name?
Your son did that, though. He called me Kyle.
Yeah, give me the one on the pomegranate real quick, and then the lilies. We had these on our garments. So you got to see that a 6-point figure was whatever name you want to put on it, right? Biblically, it might have not been that name, right? Remember, they changed everything. Everything was changed. The whole earth is out of course. So when you talk about the star, we know when we look up at the stars in the sky are round. They're round. So, even if you get a nice telescope, you look at the so-called planets, they call them stars, right? Those are round. So once again, even based on that concept alone, star, if you wanted to put the label star on it, it wasn't a star. See, it wasn't a pointed image, or what do they call it? Not a hectagram. They call it a pentagram. A pentagram is 5. Yeah. What do they call it? The 6-point. What type of? Is it hexagon? Yeah, I think it might be a hexagon. They teach kids this in the 4th, 5th grade.
Because an octagon is 8.
Right. So it might be a hectagon. Whatever name you want to put on it, this is what the Most High told us to wear on our garments. It's a hexagon. Go ahead, read that.
Exodus chapter 39, and I'm going to start at verse, it's 26, but I'm going to start at 22. Because he's going over the instructions from Moses what to do.
Right, and we'll still send you the link, but these are just some of the scriptures that we pull on there. Go ahead.
And he made a robe and an ephod of woven work, all of blue.
Go ahead.
And there was a hole in the midst of the robe, as the hole of the paragon with a band round about the hole, and it was that it should not rend.
Go ahead.
Verse 24. And they made upon the hems of the robes pomegranates of blue.
Right. So they made upon the hems of pomegranates of blue. So these pomegranates, okay, these pomegranates, how did they look? Did you put that image up there?
I did.
Okay, see these pomegranates have this six-pointed, what you might call Star of David. You see how nature can be wicked? You can't say, well, the pomegranate is wicked and I don't see why. It's not wicked. People make them wicked. Just like a fork is not wicked, but I can make it wicked by stabbing you in the eyeball. A butter knife is not wicked. A knife is not wicked. Right? A gun is not wicked. Right? A bow and arrow is not wicked. But if I shoot you in the neck with one, it's used for wickedness. So when we deal with the common sense of the Bible and understanding that these things that the wicked turn into evil, that's what they do. You know what I mean? We don't deal with that. We don't worship images. We don't worship any other God but the one true God, Yahweh. Okay? So, you know, they can take whatever image and whatever our images. They can start taking the menorahs and be like, well, we worship that. Right? Is that evil because they worship it? Or they used it in a faggot ceremony? Like, yeah, they put the menorah in the ceremony and all sit down and get butt naked. That's what they do. We don't do that. So my point is that for the good it's godly, but to the wicked it's turned into evil. So that pomegranate, that symbol on it, okay, was what we wore. Okay? You got the other one? Let me see here. So, yeah, that one in Esdras.
2nd Esdras chapter 5 and verse 24.
Yeah, you can go there.
2nd Esdras chapter 5 and verse 24. Give me a con.
Yeah, read from verse 23.
Verse 23. You want me to go all the way down to 27? A lot.
Read down.
Con. Verse 23. And said, O Lord, that bearest rule
right,
of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof.
Right.
Thou canst choose thee only vine. Verse 24. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit.
Right.
And of all the flowers thereof, one lily.
One what?
One lily.
Right. So the Most High has chosen the lily, and he likens the Hebrew Israelites to the lily. He says we're his favorite people, plant, root, flower, pit. So when you read down in Esdras, that's what it's talking about, Israel. It says to the lily. Now, when you look up the lily, right, Hosea 14 and 5, go there. When you look up the lily,
Hosea
chapter 14, verse 5.
right, when you look up the lily, I want you to show them the picture of the lily. How many points does that lily have?
6.
Right, so this lily, is it wicked? I mean, somebody can probably do something wicked with a lily. I'm sure they can. They can make it, the wicked can make anything wicked. But the Most High said it's righteous. Just like the rainbow, right? Is the rainbow wicked? But if you wore a rainbow shirt here in class, what happens? If you wore a rainbow shirt or a rainbow garment, a rainbow pair of pants with some fringes on, what people gonna think? Well, a spiritual person is gonna say, "Oh, bro, that's colorful as hell. I mean, that's a lot of colors, right?" But a person that's looking at it from a worldly mind, you're gonna say, "What? Man, that's that faggot color." But no, it's not. The rainbow is not a homosexual color. Because why? Just because the faggots took it? Y'all get this? You see the common sense? That we can go through all the symbols, the images, and these things and show you what the wicked use them for. But that don't mean we're supposed to use them for those things. Or we represent those things. So it's showing you here the lily is something created from the Most High's hand. Are you going to say, yeah, brother, that's off, that's wicked? I don't know why y'all wear that lily on your garment. Well, that's what these are. These are lilies. Okay? All right, so read it again. Where we at?
Hosea chapter 14, verse 4. I will heal their backslidings. I will love them freely. For my anger is turned away from him.
Go ahead.
I will be as the dew unto Israel. He shall grow as the lily. And cast forth his roots as Lebanon.
Right, so when you go to Jesuz and you go to Hosea, you start seeing that the Most High calls us his lily. Why? Because that's his favorite flower. Okay? So, just to give you a little common sense in that. Let's go to the next question. Yeah.
With the Star of David, the Hawam said that they did a class over, but he doesn't remember the name of it. I looked everywhere, I can't find it.
We got to find it. Yeah. We got to label these classes really good.
Like when you search it, it doesn't pop up as if, like, you know.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, that means we got to go.
I kind of went over it a little bit Monday, but they kind of said refer to the link, but
we got to get a link.
We did a cable show on it. Did we?
No.
It's not labeled.
It's not labeled as the Star of David.
We got to, oh, you know what it might be under? The Star of Molech. Because maybe that's, remember they were saying it was that? Then we had to go through that to show them that Molech and all that stuff. But yeah. Okay. I mean, hopefully that helped out, brother. All right, what's the next one? That's it? Okay. All right, we'll give y'all a second. If y'all don't have anything else, we'll let this brother go over his class. Hopefully those helped out. And the sister that said about the marriage, we just went over that, man. We just went over, what's the last class I just went over? Marriage. We got to find that one. I just went over that. Huh? Did it? Really? The chosen class I did? Yeah, because we did we did a few of these classes. It's just, but you see how we're doing questions in the middle? We did a few of them. We'll look for it. What else? We got another one?
It says, what right name do you give it for conversational piece? If I'm talking with you, what would I say if not S.O.W?
If not Star of David? Well, you can give it the name of the Star of David, but, you know, as we look through the scriptures, we're finding out this image, known as the lily or the pomegranate, it was just known as that, you know, but they put this, labeled it the Star of David. That's, you know, that's the name they use for it now. That's the name we know it as. But you have to be clear to know that, one, this is not no Star of Molech, and two, biblically, we did wear this image on our garments. We did wear the image of the lily, the image of the pomegranate. So it wasn't foreign. Okay, so, I mean, if you tell me that's a Star of David, I'm going to say, oh, I know what you're talking about. Because that's the name given on it now. Given to it now. So, yeah. But, you know, the question comes from misinformation. You know, that's where that comes from. Like, you had some cats saying this is a Star of Molech. Then we went over Molech and find out, wait a minute. The Molech, when you research that, no matter how many images they put up and load it to Google and try to make it the Star of Molech, when you research Molech, there was no star. And you read the verse, it tells you they were worshiping the stars, and then they were worshiping Molech. So So, yeah. Anything else? What?
The brother Judah Kingship said, is there any meaning to nightmares in the scriptures?
Nightmares? Oh, man. Yes. I mean, yeah. Yeah, they are. Go to Ecclesiastes. Is it? And it says on there, it's tenfold. No, that's not it. No, you're talking about dreams. There's another one. Hold on a second. I gotta find this one. It says tenfold. Let me see. Oh, 40. Go to Ecclesiastes 40. And it's go to, read it from verse 1. And it depends on how you're having these and how much you're having them. Because I'm not judging you and saying that you're wicked. I'm saying that, the Most High sends these dreams, these nightmares are on a lot of people for reasons. So, I mean, you would have to judge yourself. I'm only going to give you the scriptures and what it says. So read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 40 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
Great travail is created for every man.
Right.
And an heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam.
Yeah, that's all men. It doesn't matter. Righteous, wicked, right? There's a heavy yoke on the sons of Adam. We got a lot of stuff we have to deal with. And now we have to work in every aspect of our life to survive, to exist. So that yoke is on all of us. Go ahead.
From the day that they go down, they go out
right.
of their mother's womb,
right.
till the day that they return to the mother of all things.
Yeah, I was thinking about my son, my newborn. I'm like, wow, this dude got a rough entrance. I said, hopefully, man, when he goes out, the Most High have mercy on him, because his entrance into the world, whew, dude is catching it. They was trying to put that IV in him, and she said she looked and she used to sing poke, 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 poke. I'm like, wow. But that's what we got to deal with as humans. It's a great travail on the sons of man. The things we have to deal with. See, go ahead.
Verse 2. Ecclesiastes chapter 40 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
Their imagination of things to come.
Right, their imagination of things to come. Like, you got some people that don't know how to control their mind. So, the other scripture says the trial of man is in his reasoning. So, you got some people that don't know how to control this spirit of anxiety. And this might come, well, this is going to happen, or I feel like something bad is going to happen. You got people that are overcome by these thoughts. It says another scripture, a man's mind tells him more than 7 watchmen. So you got this mind you have to control. This is what we all have to deal with. And some people are worse than others. It's going to show us. Go ahead.
Their imagination of things to come.
Right.
And the day of death.
Right, and the day of death. Like, you got to think about it. Some niggas out there slinging drugs, all they do is looking over their shoulders. When you in New York, back in the days, New York, it's like this. Like, you swivel. You're like, why? Because you might be the guy that just get ran up behind. So they constantly thinking death is around the corner, right? Right? Go ahead.
And the day of death, trouble.
You read?
Trouble their thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And cause fear of heart.
Yeah, read.
Verse 3. From him that sitteth on a throne of glory, unto him that humbleth in the earth.
Right. So it's on everybody. It doesn't matter, you know. But this is beautiful. I love this. I love this chapter. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
From
him that weareth the purple and a crown, unto him that is clothed with a fine linen, a linen frock.
Go ahead. Right. So he's showing you, you know, you can be in burlap. You can be in burlap out at the street speaking. Guess what? You're catching it just like the king is catching it, the president. I know Trump, he's probably, man, he has nightmares every night. Yeah, he just wake up in cold sweats. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Wrath and envy.
Read.
Trouble. And unquietness.
Read.
Fear of death.
Read.
And anger.
Read.
Strife.
Read.
And in the time of rest, upon his bed,
Read.
his night sleep,
Read.
do change his knowledge.
Yeah, and a lot of times, what you dream about can now set your day at hand. You know, you wake up unease. You wake up and realize that you got rattled. You know, you got shot in your sleep. You drown. You're constantly falling to a bed of pins. You know, and it's like constant torment in your sleep. Some of you are given like so-called visions and dreams, which brings anxiety, and you don't understand to let the Most High direct my paths. Right? You're trying to every step trying to figure out, is it the dream I had? Is it not? Don't worry about that. Let the Most High direct your paths. If you move with wisdom, He's going to direct you. Go ahead.
Verse 6. A little or nothing.
Now this goes into your question. Go ahead.
A little or nothing is his rest.
Go ahead.
And afterward, he is in his sleep.
Read.
As in the day of keeping watch.
Right, so he's already not getting sleep, but you're waking up. You know, you have those dreams like, it's like takes your whole sleep away to where you wake up and you feel like you didn't get no sleep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what he's saying here. You know, it's like you're in watch. It's like you're you know, like, okay, it's your time to keep watch, but you fall into sleep. Like you really not getting rest. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Trouble in the vision
Read.
of his heart.
Read.
As if he were escaped out of a battle.
Go ahead.
When all is safe, he awaketh.
Read.
And marveleth that the fear was nothing.
Yeah, you waking to murder and death and you you know, yeah, you were looking at your rib like, why you didn't help me?
Oh.
Yeah, the Spirit held me down like, it was like 8-9 years back, and I was just screaming. I was screaming. I looked over at my rib. I said, "You didn't hear me screaming?" She was like, "No." It was just trying to hold me down, and it wasn't until, you know, of course, you slow, relax, and you call on the Most High name, and then it leaves, right?
No.
You know, but this was it maybe was a little further than that. It was when I didn't know what was going on. I was like, "Where the Spirit coming from?" And I was just, but in my sleep. And it wasn't until I rebuke you in the name of the Most High Christ. And then when you wake up like, you weren't there for me, right?
Oh.
So this happens to the sons of men. Go ahead.
Verse 7.
Go ahead.
When all is safe, he awaketh and marveleth that the fear was nothing.
Go ahead.
Such things happen unto all flesh.
Go ahead.
Both man and beast.
So you when you like cats and he's having a dream, a dog, they do. That's weird, huh? It's like dogs have dreams. Like, what are they dreaming about? But here's the point to your question. Go ahead.
And that is sevenfold more upon sinners.
There you go. So it happens to all flesh, but now imagine if every night somebody was coming and holding me down. I had to ask myself, like, what am I doing, Yahweh? Why, you know, you're every night having nightmares? So the question to your question is, are you having them every night? You know, if you're having them consistently, you know, what are you entertaining? You got to know what you're entertaining, what you're dealing with. If you got demons around you, if this person is a demon that's next to you, you got to know. And then are you praying? Are you making sure you pray every night? You know, are you praying in the morning? Or where is your mind at to bring these dreams? You know, a lot of these dreams come from your subconscious. Watch, go to Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Go to that one in the Bible. Real quick. Yeah, but you see that how that goes on the wicked? It said how much more?
Sevenfold more.
Sevenfold more. Ecclesiastes 5 and 7.
Ecclesiastes 5 and verse 7.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 5 and 7.
You got it right.
Go ahead, Ray.
It says, for in the multitude of dreams and many words, there are also diverse vanities. But fear thou the Most High.
Right. Right. For in the multitude of no. Yeah, it's 3 was what I wanted. Read.
Come, verse 3. For a dream coming through the multitude of businesses.
So the dreams come through the multitude of business. So, you know, our daily life, our daily fears, our mind, what we're meditating on, what do we not want to happen? You know, that fear sets in your mind and in your subconscious. If you're not clear, you're not praying, then now you got these nightmares haunting you. So it comes to a multitude of business, and now we know that the wicked, the Most High sends that on them more. Why? Why? Why does it come on the wicked more?
Oh, because they're tormented. They're scared even of.
But why?
Because they know they're doing wrong.
Yeah, they know in their conscience that they're doing wrong. And a lot of times, a wicked person doesn't know how to control its mind. We had a brother in here, you know, he had some tickets in the past and, you know, things in the world that he's not around anymore. But yeah, we had some things in the world that he needed to get fixed. And every time he rolled on the street, you rolling with him, he's like, oh, bro, the cops. He's like, hold on, bro, bro, relax. The Most High is with you. You know what I mean? That was in the past. But it was like, no, bro. And he started dipping. He started bringing those spirits to him. So he's like bending off through the streets and trying to duck and dodge. And then it's like, bruh. But that's what the wicked do. They're so paranoid because they haven't gained the strength and the power to know that Christ is the one that controls everything. The Most High controls everything. You ain't controlling nothing. So that's why anxiety takes hold on them. And they what? They can't sleep. They can't think. They, you know what I mean? And now they got to what? Drink to go to bed. Now they got to pop pills to go to bed. Why? Because they don't know how to control their mind. You're still double-minded. So why are they like that? A double-minded person is tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine, every mind state, every thought. I don't know what I'm going to, was it the dream? Was it this? It's like, bro. Then add that to different counselors. You got a counselor from the world. You got a counselor from the truth. Your rib trying to tell you something. Your brother, it's like, yeah, it's 7 watchmen. Now you're more confused. Why? Because the scriptures say you have one counselor out of 1,000, right? But now you're trying to figure something out that you got to sometimes take the natural path. You see? That's why it says a wise man's foot are guided by the Most High. Why? Because you're going to use the wisdom, and Christ is going to be your comfort. You understand? So hopefully that helps you on that. So yeah, nightmares, man. Like I said, and I'm not saying you're wicked. What I'm saying is that ask yourself, why are you getting the nightmares? And if it's just here and there, it might just be something that your mind is worrying about, you know? But now if it's every night, I look around. I ask myself, what the hell am I doing? You know? What am I doing wicked to where the Most High is haunting me? He's trying to show me something, you know, and I can't be at ease. All right, so what else?
0.
Okay. All right, so with that, we're going to let Officer of 50, Zionala, go over his class. And if y'all got any other questions, remember, we'll be here Friday, 6 to 9. All right? So let him touch on these scriptures.
All right, shalom, shalom. All right, so the topic of the class is going to be the militant black Christ. You know, due to the fact of Christianity and all the churches that we've been in, that we went through and came out of and haven't learned anything, we really don't understand who Christ, who he was or where he came from. So this class is going to just hit on some scriptures to let you know how Christ, or the other side of Christ, once again, we understand about how Christ was, how he brought the balance. But this is more the militant side that he had whenever he was walking the streets about handling his father's business. Can somebody give me John chapter 1 and verse 43? John chapter 1 and verse 43.
St. John chapter 1, verse 33.
Yes, and whenever you read, I want y'all to read with power. Because once again, Christ spoke with power, so we're going to speak the same way. Go ahead, read that.
John chapter 1, verse 33.
43, please.
Oh, verse 43. The day followeth, Yahushua would go forth into Galilee, and findeth Philip, and said unto him, Follow me.
Galilee.
Galilee, right?
Con.
I say Galilee.
You said Galilee.
Galilee, and findeth Philip,
Read.
and said unto him, Follow me.
Read.
Now Philip was of Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter.
Yes, once again, so Christ is getting his disciples right now. He's rounding them up. But once again, they don't know Christ yet. Read.
Philip findeth Nathanael, and said unto him, We have found him.
So the him is who?
Yahushua.
Christ. Because obviously they spoke of him in the Old Testament, the Messiah, the Savior. Read.
Of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. And Nathanael said unto him,
Read.
Can there any good thing come out of Nazareth?
Read that again.
Can there any good thing come out of Nazareth?
So they're asking, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Now my question is, why do you think they asked that? Because they're talking about Christ. Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? They understand that this is Christ. They understand that this is the Messiah. But they're asking, can any good thing come out of it? Read. Or go ahead.
Because it wasn't a good place.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like maybe it was like a tore down city, hoodish.
Okay.
You know, like it's like whenever I remember every time I would read that part. Every time I would read that, I would think about the city that I came from. I would think about Fresno. It's like all of Fresno was like a hood to me. But yeah, that's why I was thinking every time I would read that verse.
Well, let's go deep. Let's go to your Zondervan. We're going out of your Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary. This is going to be page 574. 574.
And that's correct. That's correct. The understanding that you give it is correct, and that's why we, in understanding more about the Messiah, we're gonna understand where he grew up at, and we're gonna understand that this is how we knew also, man. He wasn't no Caucasian, right? On top of all the other obvious, this is just giving you more, right? All right.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, it's just to edify, to let you know exactly where Christ came from. But we're going to read out of Zondervan to see exactly how they describe. And this can give you just an understanding of why Nathanael stated what he stated. Somebody read that.
Nazareth decreed?
No, right above that paragraph, right above that. Start with unfortunately.
Unfortunately, however, the people of Nazareth had established a rather poor reputation in morals and religion.
Yeah, so they already understand that this area was a destitute of any type of civilization I want to say a destitute civilization, but morals and religion. This was your common hood. Once again, anybody that comes from, let's say, South Park, Acre Homes, like, man, ain't nothing out there except dope, drugs, or even Bissonnet. All you have is women walking down the street. You know, it's like, man, listen, it's a millionaire that came out of there. Man, how did he come out of there? Why? Because of the circumstances. But once again, this is where Christ came from. Christ was born in a place that had, it said, it was what?
It says, unfortunately, however, the people of Nazareth had established a rather poor reputation in morals and religion.
Yeah, they established. So obviously, the people that were there, the things that they would do gave them the reputation of having no morals / religion. So that means no laws. They probably was out there just vicious,
growling.
Just beasts, gremlins as we call. But I'm gonna take another insert from another book to give us more detail. So this book is gonna be from the Zealot, the life and the times of Jesus of Nazareth. You can find this on page 37, and it states this. It says, ancient Nazareth rests on the jagged brow of a windy hilltop in Lower Galilee. No more than 100 Jewish families lived in this tiny village. So once again, it was an area that really most people didn't settle there. It was your common hood, a little cutoff. It said, there are no roads, no public buildings. There are no synagogues. So this place has no type of access to get there, no type of city buildings, no post office.
You know what, as you're reading it, you know what picture's in my head? Baton Rouge.
Ooh. Oh, right.
Right. Like, every time, you know, Baton Rouge to me is like a third world country. And the crazy thing is, you go into Baton Rouge and, the hood part. And you, of course, like here also, you go in the Fifth Ward, but their hood makes it feel like it's a whole different city outside of Baton Rouge, like the hood of Baton Rouge. Because you had some nice area out there. But the hood is really, you really know, damn, this is the hood. But I guess we got that in Houston too, right? The Fifth Ward, Third Ward. You know, you can go down. Also, Magnolia, we went out there. When we went out there, remember when we went out there? It was, I'm talking about, same thing out here, like, you know, houses on stilts.
I remember we went to that one area where the sister didn't want to get out the car. She was like, no, y'all can go.
Right, yeah.
Hey, okay.
Yeah. So as you're reading about it, you can see that it's the same places we grew up in, our people grew up in.
That's all.
Yeah, definitely. Christ grew up in the same situations, man. And this is how you know, once again, he's a black man. But we're going to keep reading. It says, there are no roads, no public buildings. There is no synagogue. The villagers share a single well from which to draw fresh water. And once again, I'm going over this just to draw a picture to show you where Christ came from. And then we're going to see how he grows up later on. But it says, the villagers share a single well from which to draw fresh water. A single bath, fed by a trickle of rainfall, captured and stored in underground cisterns, serves the entire population. So once again, this was more of a, you know, the whole community had to come together in their poorness, man. You know, they didn't have the riches. You know, if you read more of the book, it just spoke about that, you know, there wasn't a lot of good jobs out there. People really didn't choose that area to live in. It says, it is a village of mostly illiterate peasants, farmers, and day laborers. A place that does not exist on any map.
Wow.
Yeah. It is also the city in which Jesus was likely born and raised. That he came from this tight enclosed village of a few hundred impoverished Jews may very well be the only fact concerning Jesus' childhood about which we can be fairly confident. It says, so identified was Jesus of Nazareth, that he was known throughout his life simply as the Nazarene. And it says this to end it. Concerning how common a name Jesus, Yahushai, was, and that's funny, his book, it said Yeshua, but obviously Yahushai, the city of his birth became his principal sobriquet. It was the one thing about which everyone who knew him, his friends and his enemies alike, seemed to agree. So once again, everybody knew where Christ came from. Christ came from the hood. And once again, this is more to relate to the individuals that think that Christ, was born with royalty. He was out here with the chariots. He jumped on the chariot, did his teachings. No, Christ was from a hood near you, exactly where we're at right now. In fact, if you actually, this is a good book because it talks about who Christ actually went to go teach. He didn't teach the outstanding individuals, the high citizens. It was the peasants. Once again, it says that they were illiterate. So he was going down to the broken down individuals. I want somebody to give me Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 2. Just to give you more understanding how Christ grew up. Because once again, we have a misconception of who Christ really was. We don't understand, the morals that he actually had, how he grew up, and why it made him the man that he was.
Right, all the, and this is one of those classes that need a lot of images because, every movie and everything we see on TV, it gives you this concept of what they call Jesus. But it's not. Everything we learn about Christ from Christianity, every step of the way has been false. And they don't want to show you these things. Why? Because now you're going to get you're going to really kind of see him come out of the book now. And him relate to you. His color, how he looked, you know what I mean? He wasn't this handsome, and I know you're going to go into that a bit. He wasn't this handsome guy that they all wanted to make him out to be. Right.
Go ahead and get that. Isaiah chapter 53 verse 2.
Isaiah chapter 53 verse 2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant.
Read.
And as a root out of a dry ground.
So once again, it says a root. So he's going to grow up at a dry ground. And the dry ground was his poverty. He grew up in a harsh area. He grew up in the hood. It said it was dry ground. Read.
He had no form nor comeliness.
Yeah, he had no form of comeliness, which means beauty. He wasn't one of your attractive guys with the tight beard, with his edge ups tight, mustache popping, waves on 10. No, he said he had no form of comeliness. Read.
And when we shall see him.
So whenever you look at Christ, whenever you see your Messiah, read.
There is no beauty that we should desire him.
Yeah, there's no beauty in this man that we should desire him. That's women as well. Because once again, it talks about judging the man on his outward appearance. Christ came down looking beat down.
Right, and for that reason, that he wasn't going to be desired for his beauty.
Right.
It wasn't going to be like, oh yeah, nowadays, oh man, look at Pastor such and such. His suits be clean. You know what I mean? Or even in here, all that. Now you're trustworthy because you're more handsome.
Because you got a beautiful face.
Yeah, you got a pretty face, so now you're trustworthy. And anything dark, chocolate, cut up, can't trust that nigga. Yeah, but that's the outlook now. He's gonna rob you. He's gonna kill you. But your Jesus can't look like that. Because that's black, ugly. You see that? So they put this image up of Caesar Borgia, this false image, because he was known to be the beauty of his time.
Right.
So they put him up for that simple reason, showing you every step of the way is against the Bible. They, they trying to make Christ acceptable to everybody.
6 packs.
Yeah.
6 pack.
Yeah, my Jesus got a 6-pack.
Right. Yeah. My Jesus is Asian.
Korean Jesus.
Right. They try to pull it.
He got that good hurt. He got that stringy hurt.
Give me Philippians chapter 2 and verse 6. Philippians 2 and verse 6. I need 2 readers. 2 readers, please. So read that again, Ray. Can you get that for me, Aaron?
Come.
Philippians 2 and 6.
Oh, Philippians, okay.
But I want Ray to get that Isaiah 53.
Come. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 6.
Read that.
Who, being in the form of the Most High.
So once again, Christ came down in the image of the Most High. Read.
Thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High.
We already know that Christ created the world. The worlds. But read.
But made himself of no reputation.
So when that spirit came down, he said what?
But made of himself no reputation.
I want somebody to look up the word reputation. Continue to read.
Reputation, and took upon him The form of a servant.
It said it took up on him the form of a servant. So knowing who Christ was, the Almighty, Christ, right? He came down of no reputation. He was coming down, like he said, as a common man, right. As a man that you wouldn't see his beauty. Now, he wanted you to respect what the words that came out of his mouth from the Father. And it said what? That he took on the what? Read.
The form of a servant.
Read.
And was made in likeness of men.
Yeah, made in the likeness as his brethren. But give me that definition of reputation.
Reputation, the making of amends for a wrong one has done.
Reputation? No, I got you. It says overall quality or character as seen or judged by people in general. Yeah, see the thing about it, Christ didn't want his brothers to just judge him off of his appearance. Oh, this cat got to be telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? He's riding the Benz. Oh, he is the truth.
Right, yeah.
This brother right here, listen, he got that money. He must be doing something right. Nah, Christ wanted to come down and we're like, hold on, I can't believe this cat. This cat don't look like this. But that shows you how, or it shows you where our mind was. Because we're extremely carnal. Extremely carnal.
And you can see how it didn't change. You know, and that's why Christ was kind of checking the Pharisees and the Sadducees. You know, because they would take care of their outward appearance, but their inward was all jacked up.
And so basically, it said no reputation. So Christ came down. The antonym of reputation is unimportance. So Christ wanted to come down as an average Joe. What do you got, Ariel?
Overall quality or characters as seen or judged by people in general.
Right.
Recognition by other people of some characteristic or ability.
Right. Read verse 7. Philippians chapter 2 and verse 7.
Verse 7. But made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant.
All right, so it says it took upon him the form of a servant. So once again, this is Christ. He said he took on the form of a servant, which means it says one that serves others. So Christ came on the form to what? To serve his people. Like it says, to heal the sick, the maimed, the lepers. That's what Christ came to do. It said, especially one that performs duties about the person or home of a master or personal employee. We already understand who Christ's employer was. Give me John chapter 6 and verse 38. Because once again, we're understanding who Christ is and how he came.
You got that over here?
This is the individual that came out of the hardness of the hood. Not even that, he came looking rough, beat down. Someone that you wouldn't find commonly. But why? Because once again, we're carnal. We like the outside. Oh, that's a cat got it going on. Nah, he want to look like one of them homeless cats out here on Bissonnette. One of the cats that you most likely will overlook.
Right, and let me bring this in there too, because of that, and we know that a lot of brothers think that you have to look like a bum. No, you can't. Is it saying now because if you handsome you can't come in the truth now?
Nah.
Okay, so just to throw that out there, because you have certain brothers that they go out and they try to put on the worst garments to emulate this. In the scriptures it says, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem.
God.
This is, and if you don't got pretty garments, you shouldn't try to make it. Man, I see brothers with sandals with dirty socks on.
Right.
That's not saying you of Christ. Stop it. Christ was clean still. Just because he was from the hood, that don't mean he was dirty. We grown up on these brothers' eye. Christ still had class. He still was the Son of God. So when it's talking about his character, it wasn't like if I had time to sew this on, right? I'm going to rip it off. Why? Just to show you I'm about Christ? No.
Right.
The hell is your problem, man? I don't know where these guys get that from. But this brother's garment, and I'm not speaking against the brother in his garment. What I'm saying is that to emulate Christ is not saying now I got to be tacky and broke down and beat up. You know what I mean? If this can be sewed, then sew it. If you got boots, don't wear sandals with dirty socks out in the street and figure like now I'm more Christ-like because I got dirty socks on. That's not saying that, man. Israel got to stop it. The scripture said, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem. So, because here's the question. When you go out in your garments, right? Right, we try to make our garments look fly, right?
God.
We try to make them look good, right?
God.
Why? Why? Because, listen, when you go out there in the world without your garments, your pants, they got holes in them? Your shoes, they got shotgun wounds in them? So, it was to the point where I was like, wait a minute. I was going to like say, wait a minute. I know this brother don't dress like that on the regularly. Why would he do that in representing Christ? You understand that? That's not saying that we represent Christ that way. That is just, I don't think Christ was walking around, well, holy, with sandals on, with dirt in his socks.
Not from the tribe of Judah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. So this is just showing that where we come from, and where he comes from, it was a beat down place. It was a hard life. But, as we go into this, Christ was a carpenter too, right? His family was a carpenter, right? So they were wearing clean socks. And he was wearing a clean tunic. You know what I mean? If he weren't wearing leather, if he was not having that much money, he was wearing something that was still nice. Yeah. I just wanted to say that, man, because I seen some cats, man, I wanted to really step to them and rebuke them because their garments was really tore down. And it looked like they were doing it on purpose, too. It didn't look like they were doing that on because they didn't have time to sew it. It was like they just came out like that on purpose. And that's the wrong perception that we want to give off to people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like the brothers with the potato sack downtown?
Yeah, you don't got to wear potato sacks, burlap, and say, because Christ was broke, brothers that got garments. First of all, the Bible tells you put on your beautiful garments. It didn't say go get your most dustiest ass garment and represent Christ. It said put on your beautiful garments. Then cry out loud in the spirit now. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that because, like we're going over where he came from. But the thing about it is, even though he came from these circumstances, he was together. Right. That was the more of the astonishment.
Right.
This is a brother from the hood where they have no morals, no religious type of background, no synagogues, no churches.
Right.
But this man is on 10 preaching the word of God.
Right.
Outstanding individual. It was like, hold on.
Saying things that you've never heard come out of anybody's mouth.
Right. A place where they're illiterate.
Where at 12 years old, you're running up and teaching doctors and lawyers.
Come on.
Right?
From the hood.
What?
Like Christ was so well spoken that when Peter was denying him, when Peter was denying him 3 times, and they listened to his speech, and they were like, "Listen, you talk like Christ.
Right.
Like you've been hanging around this man.
Right. You're saying things that this guy. It's like us. It's like people look at us like, where'd you get that from? Right. It's like I haven't heard that before. So they all speak in this common tongue. But yeah, go ahead. I
like that. No, just give me what do you have? John chapter 6 and verse 38.
St. John chapter 6 and verse 38.
Read.
For I came down from heaven, not to do my own will.
So this is Christ saying, because he's a servant of food, the Most High. He said he came down not to do his own will. Read.
But the will of him that sent me.
So how Christ was moving was how the Most High ordained him to move. Once again, the spirit that he was in was the spirit of the Most High, because he's an image of the Most High. Give me John chapter 2 and verse 13. But once again, Christ was not a raggy, walking around, illiterate. No, this joker was together. He was, number one, studious. He was very militant, and even in the military, listen, if your pants aren't starched, if your boots aren't shined, somebody's getting jacked up. Right. Christ was in the same mind frame. Give me that. John chapter 2 and verse 13.
St. John chapter 2 and verse 13.
And now we're going into just to let you know how Christ actually dealt. How Christ was, because once again, the Christian church has put in our brain that Christ was this soft individual that loves everybody and holds lambs. Because he had 2 sides. Once again, this is the militant side. Read that.
St. John chapter 2, verse 13. And the Jews' Passover was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem.
Read.
And found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves, and the changers of the money sitting.
So Christ went up to Jerusalem, went up into the temple, and saw these cats had a casino up in there, man. Selling oxen, probably rolling dice, smoking weed, all the abominations that we've always done. This is what Christ did. Read.
Verse 15. And when he had made a scourge of small cords.
He said he did what?
Made a scourge of small cords.
He said Christ made a scourge. And just to let you know what a scourge is, it's a whip. It says, especially one used to inflict pain or punishment. Instrument of punishment or criticism. It says to cause a wide or great affliction. Listen, Christ said he made a scourge. Read.
He drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables.
Why? Because they was in there doing some off things. Yahweh took it up to another level. Yeah, there's sometimes that you got to speak, but there's sometimes that you actually got to put in some work. Made a scourge. Listen, y'all got to get up out of here with that, man. This is the Most High's temple. You're defiling that. Yahweh said, listen, I can't have that here. Give me John chapter 2. And actually, keep reading.
You know, in all these, like, I think they might have did this on the little Jesus movies on History Channel. But look how effeminate this cat is.
Right.
You know, they don't even put this, they can't embody the true character of Christ. And that's why we think Christ is effeminate. We think we got to talk effeminate. We think we got to act effeminate. Christ was professional. He wasn't out there cursing everybody out and calling them names and stuff like that. But he did sharply cut you. You know what I mean? And he just sharply spoke to you. So how could they really embody in these movies this character? You know, and it takes away the validity. That's why they think they can get away with this guy. And you know, I can do anything to my Jesus. I can get away with murder, you know, killing, homosexuality. Why? Because that guy ain't gonna do nothing. The homosexual Jesus ain't gonna do nothing.
He'll be okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep reading.
Verse 16. And he said unto them that sow doves, take these things hence, make not my Father's house a house of merchandise.
Yeah, so he told them, listen, take all this stuff up out of here. You're doing wrong in my Father's house. Read.
And his disciples remembered that it was written, the zeal of thine house had eaten me up.
Yeah, because he's mad at his people of what they're doing in the house of the Most High. The zeal has eaten him up. Flipped all the way out. Everybody get up out of here. This is Christ that we're speaking about. Give me Psalm chapter 69 and verse 9. It says, the zeal of thy house has eaten me up. Listen, Christ, once again, he came to do the Most High's will. So when they're in here doing all this foolishness, listen, the Most High is not about that. Even in our lives. Whenever, you know, you may be doing something off or doing something wrong, and you get corrected. Listen, that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to get corrected. Because that's not the Most High's way. Read that.
Psalm chapter 69, verse 9.
Read.
For the zeal of thine house had eaten me up.
And that's the precept for that scripture. Because once again, the disciples knew the scriptures. They pulled Psalm 69 and 9. They remembered. Continue to read.
Con. And the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me.
Yeah, the reproach. It says, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me. So once again, Christ is feeling the pain of their sins. Because they're ignorantly doing it. Or maybe even purposely doing it. But it still turned Christ on 10. Give me Matthew chapter 7 and verse 28. Once again, we're going over the militant side of Christ. Give me Matthew chapter 7 and verse 28. You have any questions? Any questions?
Matthew chapter 7, verse 28. And it came to pass, when Yahushua had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine.
Yeah, once again, this is the same person that came from the hood. It said he was speaking, and they were astonished with his words that he was saying, because he was very wise. He had the Spirit of the Most High upon him. Read.
For he taught them as one having authority.
One having what?
Authority.
Read.
And not as the scribes.
Yeah, it said having authority because he knew what he was talking about. If you read up in that passage, he was talking about, actually, let's go there. Let's go there. Read up a little bit. Read up to, give me Matthew chapter 7 and verse, you can start at 21.
Verse 21.
And once again, this was the authority that Christ was speaking with. Read.
Now everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven.
No, read it correctly. Somebody read it right.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 21.
It's y'all job, when you see him read it wrong, to jump up and read it right. Come on.
God. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah, so the most Christ was obviously dropping about who's going to make it to the kingdom. So this is something they probably haven't heard. Read.
But he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven.
Read.
Verse 22.
Right, even right there, when you see his approach, that's not the approach of the Christians, is it? That's not the approach of the Pharisees. When's the last time you hear them say, you know what? The only ones that are going to make it to the kingdom is them that do the will of God. You hear them say what? The kingdom's for everybody.
God.
Everybody's going to make it. Jesus loves everybody. But Christ, why was he different? Because he made sure it was straight to the point, sharp, and it came from the Most High. And you know the Most High wasn't playing. You know what I mean? The Most High wasn't playing. He was already ready to destroy us any dang way. Back during the time of Moses and how he spoke. Think about how the Most High spoke through the angels to tell Israel. And we were just reading it earlier. Think about it. We just read Ezekiel 16 earlier, right?
God.
And what did it say? What did it say about us? That we was dirty Hamites.
Dirty Hamites.
That's from the Most High.
In the blood.
The Most High sent the angels out to go remind us that what? Y'all are amongst dirty-ass Hamites, filthy, you know what I mean? Your umbilical cord wasn't even cut. Christ came down and he spoke with that same authority.
God.
So it might not always go to your liking of what is said, because it's meant for it to do what? It's meant to do what? What is it meant? What is the word meant to do?
Oh, change your thought process.
Change your thought process, but go to Hebrews 4, verse 12. Because a lot of times we think, oh, well, why did he say it that way? Why did he use a situation that happened to me, and I don't like that. Like, we got sisters that stopped coming to class. Why? Because Quatazop was using situations that they were doing, things they would say, and they didn't like it. Why? If it's wicked, then you're supposed to be corrected.
Done.
Right?
Done.
But I don't want to hear you tell me about myself. That's how Christ spoke. Read that.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. For the word of the Most High is quick.
Right.
And powerful.
It's quick and what?
And powerful.
Go ahead.
And sharper than any two-edged sword.
Go ahead.
Piercing even to the dividing.
Right. So what is the word supposed to do?
Piercing.
The word is supposed to pierce. The word is not created all the time to go to your liking. A lot of times it's going to pierce. Some of it is piercing to one individual, and that same thing to one individual to the next one is what? Comforting. You see that? But why is it piercing to this one individual? Why is it cutting this one individual? We can throw out a scripture in 1 minute, you'd be like, you'll be cut, and the next brother's like smiling and be like, yeah, that's on point. Why?
Because it pertains to something that's in you.
There you go. So Christ, when he spoke a lot of times pertaining to things that were dealing with you. So he didn't speak all the time to where it was going to be comforting to you. Y'all see that?
Done.
The churches, religion is set up to what? To be comfortable.
Done.
To make it at ease with you. Because why? I want you to run to Jesus because you like him. Right? But there you go. And that's where we're going to go. But the scripture said smooth words. Right? They want to hear smooth things. And that's why they don't want to hear a Hebrew Israelite dropping, because he's cutting. And I'm not saying you need to curse and curse up a storm. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, just the words, the subject, the way you're bringing it out will cut them to the heart. And it would be powerful. What else is in there? Stay with me.
Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints, and of marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts.
Right. You see that? It's a discerner of thoughts. So a lot of times it will rip through you. You understand? That's what it's meant for. But I like how he's going about this, because it's showing us that if Christ did it this way, and Christ had this balance, and we've been over the balance a lot, but now he's showing the austereness of Christ. He's showing that Christ was a hard man. He's showing that Christ was a military man, right?
God.
So it's good, because now we can understand, wait a minute. If that brother comes to me a little stern or speaks to me in a little stiff, I can't just buckle up and start melting. I got to listen to what he's saying, right?
God.
Go from there. Go to 2 Corinthians 11, verse 6.
2 Corinthians. You got that up,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Read that. 2 Corinthians 11, verse 6.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 6.
So now we're understanding how Christ spoke, right? How he came in, how he was authoritative, right? Okay. Why? Because the spirit, the word is powerful. More powerful than the two-edged sword, right? It's supposed to cut. It's supposed to heal. It's supposed to discern. It's supposed to hit you and make you think about your life. Like if somebody took baby powder and smacked the hell out of you.
Examine yourself.
You was like, pow! Like, did he just smack me? Yes. Because I want you to think about your life. Right, read that.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
But though I be rude in speech.
But you have to understand, because the delivery was rude in speech. Go ahead.
Yet not in knowledge.
That's what the Bible shows us. Now, I'm not giving the brother the right or the sister the right to curse anybody out, you know, or nothing like that. But sometimes you got to get hard with Israel. I'm not saying you a hoe. I'm saying you acted like one. You might say that. I'm not calling you this. I'm not calling you a bitch. But what is a shameless woman? Shall be counted as
a dog.
Okay, I'll say it more professionally. You're acting like a shameless woman that shall be counted as a dog. Now, in modern terms, we know what that means, right? Yes, you're right. Granted, I don't have to say the word bitch, but you're acting like a shameless woman and says she should be counted as a dog, right?
God.
Or brother, you got an effeminate spirit on you. You're not calling him a faggot, but you're saying what? He got womanly traits, because that's what the Bible said, right?
God.
So just showing you that, yes, there's a professional way to do it, but it's not going to escape the rudeness of the way things are delivered a lot of times. And that's how Christ came in, and he wasn't rude all the time. Let's get that straight. Like every instance, Christ wasn't walking in just spilling over tables like, you niggas are wicked, and start kicking holes in the wall. He wasn't doing that. But we're just showing you that, you see, there is that in this man. He was a man. You know, and it was pissing him off that this was happening. Right? Though I be rude in speech, but what?
Yet not in knowledge.
Right, yet not in knowledge. Go to Acts 5, what is it?
5 and 33.
Acts 5 and 33.
Yeah, help him out, man. You good.
Yeah. If you need to sit out, you look, you're looking kind of hurt, man. Sit. I'll be all right. If you have a little pain out, you good. I know. I can see your left shoulder is not able to. Go ahead, read that. 5 and 33.
Acts chapter 5, verse 33.
Go ahead.
When they heard that, they were cut to the heart.
When they heard what the apostles, what the prophets, what Christ said. Now, I think this is Stephen, right? But that's Stephen, right? But the other one was where Christ said, where they said to Christ, they said they durst no more ask him any other question. I was looking for that one. But this is when Stephen spoke. What did it say about him? Read that. Read.
Oh, come. When they heard that, they were cut to the heart.
They were what?
Cut to the heart.
Well, you see that, right? They were cut to the heart so much, what?
And took counsel to slay them.
Yeah. Israel got to stop. Well, why are you saying it like that, bro? Because you need to be told like that. Because you're being stubborn. You're being stiff-necked. Right? So Christ, a lot of times, when he dealt, when he talked, when he moved, it was in a way to wake your ass up, check you, right? Go ahead.
Then stood there up, one in the council.
Right. So that's it on there. But that just shows, man, that the speech of not only Christ but the apostles, the prophets. This character is not an all-brand character. You know, but yes, and I'm going to bring it back to there got to be a balance. You can't always be like that. But there is times when stiff-necked, stubborn, wicked Israelites are stubborn. You got to come with force, right? And that's what you're seeing with him throwing over tables and whipping things, just like your kids, right? You can't just always say, okay, little Matthew, go on in the corner now. You got to be like, boy, you shake the life out of right? You scare the heck out of why? Because they got to realize that it's not a game right now, right? And that's what Christ was doing. Where are you at?
It's Luke chapter 20. It starts at verse 27, and then it ends at verse 40.
No, I don't want all that. Just jump straight to the point.
Verse 40.
Uh-huh.
Just read that.
Just read that.
Okay, verse 40.
I'm giving this class back. Go
Luke
ahead.
chapter 20, verse 40.
Uh-huh.
And after that, they durst not ask him any questions at all.
Right. So, and of course they can read that, but, he dealt with them on a topic to where he was cut them so hard. It's like, okay, I'm done. I ain't going to say nothing. I ain't going to say nothing. I ain't going to say nothing else to him. Why? Because Christ was ripping in their spirit. You see that?
Come.
Y'all got it? Y'all woke?
Come.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. I want somebody to look up the definition of authority. Actually, I'll get it for you. Definition of authority. Once again, this is what Christ spoke with. It says power to influence or command thought, opinion, or behavior. Christ had cats moving. Had them moving around. Listen, this is off. Get your mind right. Mm-hmm. It says persons in command, specifically government, the local authorities of a state. But once again, Christ was in authority of the Most High's will on earth. Give me Mark chapter 1 and verse 23. Mark chapter 1 and verse 23. This is another example of Christ having authority when he spoke. I need this quick. Mark chapter 1 and verse 23.
Mark chapter 1, verse 23. And there...
Go ahead.
Come on. And there was in their synagogue a man with an unclean spirit.
So once again, this is a situation where there's an unclean spirit, where some people may say this man has a devil on him. You have a spirit upon you. So don't find it weird or astonishing when somebody might say you have a spirit upon you, because this is what happened in the Bible. Read.
And he cried out, saying, let us alone. What have we to do with thee, thou Yahushua of Nazareth?
Read that again. Verse 24.
Saying, let us alone. what have we to do with thee, thou Yahushua of Nazareth?
No, you know, I like this because you see how the demons weren't nice. And that's how you...
How they speak?
Yeah, you get these brothers and sisters who got demons on. Like, you're not being nice. You're being a stubborn, rebellious, and stiff-necked.
You just don't know.
Yeah, we gotta come hard with it. We gotta come hard at these demons too. So you see, they're like, listen, I ain't got nothing to do with you. Get away from me, right? Well, how did Christ come?
Read.
Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee, who thou art.
See, once again, the demons recognize Yahushua. Read.
The Holy One of the Most High.
Read.
And Yahushua rebuked him.
He did what?
He rebuked him.
Give me a definition of rebuke. Continue to read, right?
Saying, hold thy peace and come out of him.
Yeah, so he stopped the spirit from speaking. He was like, man, shut your mouth. Be quiet. Once again, there's nothing new under the sun. It's the same thing. Christ had authority when he spoke to unclean spirits. Give me that definition.
Express sharp disapproval.
Yes, that's a rebuke. He expressed sharp disapproval. And sharp isn't soft. It's a piercing word or a piercing phrase of disapproval. Continue. Aria?
Or criticism of someone because of their behavior or action.
Yeah, once again, so Christ spoke to this spirit, this demon, in a sharp way. Listen, be quiet. Read, Ray.
Verse 26. And when the unclean spirit had torn him and cried out with a loud voice, he came out of him.
Yeah, so Christ demanded the spirit to get out. Read.
Verse 27. And they were all amazed, insomuch that they questioned among themselves, saying, what thing is this?
Oh yeah, they didn't understand that. See, once again, a lot of people think they get mad when they say, when somebody tells them they have spirits upon them. Yeah, because you do. You're prideful. You're talking while somebody else is speaking. These are all attributes that Christ saw in this spirit. And that's why he told them, what he said? He told them to be quiet and get out. And the people around was like, hold on, what is this? This man from Galilee, the hood over here casting out demons? Got cats out here crying out? What is this? But that was because he had authority in the power of the Most High. Read.
What new doctrine is this? For with authority commanded he even the unclean spirits, and they do obey him.
Yeah, once again, because they didn't see this from anybody else. They didn't see these in your common churches. You know, the churches give you the fake version of it. You know, they let you vast in your wickedness. They're not out here trying to pull out these wicked spirits up out of you. But Christ was like, nah, man, be quiet, get up out of this man.
Yeah, they're trying to once again, Isaiah 30, we don't have to go there, but they're trying to, and you know, I see that even amongst us, let's be real. Like, we try so much to help and kind of get this person, and you can see that it's to the point, it's like they brothers and sisters lose respect. Like, you got to have a correct balance of that tenderness. Because if not, they take that kindness for weakness. That's how Israel is. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, like go to the hood and try to be kind. Like go to the hood and try to hand out dollars. You know what I mean? They ain't going to reach for $1. They're going to reach for the whole hand. Why? That's how you are. You know, especially when you're stubborn and stiff-necked. So you got to know that about yourself. That's why us as leaders, we got to be able to apply the right amount of tenderness when needed and the right amount of sharpness and ass whooping when needed, you know? Yeah. And Christ was the best at that. He showed us when to be compassionate and loving, right? And then he showed us when to just spaz out, you know, in order, right? In order on people, you know?
And what I like about it too, because it said that they were astonished. So once again, Christ came in a respectful but powerful way. He was very articulate in the words that he was using. I want somebody to give me Revelation chapter 1 and verse 15 and Mark chapter 4 and verse 1. And this is just to continue on showing that Christ spoke with power and authority. Not as an effeminate person, speaking very softly. No, Christ didn't speak like that. The men of God didn't speak like that. The Most High ordained his prophets and Yahushua to be a certain way to our people. Why? Because we're stiff-necked. Hard. Listen, Christ came from the hood, so he dealt with the hard heads. He dealt with the stiff-necked people. Give me that.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 15.
Read.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
Read.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
His voice as what?
The sound of many waters.
And that's just to show you that Christ spoke extremely loudly, so everybody could hear him. Give me Mark chapter 4 and verse 1.
Mark chapter 4 verse 1.
Read.
And he began again to teach by the seaside. And there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that he entered into a ship and sat in the sea. And the whole multitude was by the sea of the land.
Read.
And he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine.
Yeah, so my apologies. Take that back. Mark chapter 4 and verse 1, it says, so that he entered into a ship and sat in the sea. So picture this. Christ is in a boat in the sea off from the shore, teaching to a multitude of people. Now, I don't think they had a microphone back then. So Christ's voice was very powerful, and it actually carried across the waters to where the people could actually hear. Christ was a powerful man. This isn't one of the little simps that you see on TV with the toga on, the skinny hair. No. Christ was a powerful man. A man of the Most High. Continue to read.
Come, verse 3. Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow.
Actually, that's it. Give me verse 4. Or verse 2, my apologies. Mark 4 and 2.
Come, and he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine.
Wow, let's see. Give me Titus 2 and 15. So once again, Christ was teaching the people by the sea, or in the sea, to the shore. This is a powerful man. Once again, we have to understand who Christ was. How powerful he was. Why? Because this is our example. This is how we should be. This is how we should carry ourselves. In an extreme, very respectful way. You should look at yourself as Christ. Christ knew who he was. He may have come from a humbling background, but he understood the spirit that was within him. He understood he had power. You don't have to walk around with your head down. No. You got the power of the Most High with you. Give me that. Titus chapter 2 and verse 15.
Titus chapter 2 verse 15.
Read.
These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority.
And that's why sometimes when it comes to this Bible, when we have, it says rebuke with authority, with a little bit of power, you might feel that. It may feel awkward. A lot of people's not used to that. They're not used to that sternness. This is called being a man. Read.
Let no man despise thee.
Just because they have an issue where they don't like somebody talking to them a certain way, where they feel a little uncomfortable because the man, his vibration shook his body with the words that he was saying. Listen, that's how men speak. Read that again.
These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority.
And that's how Christ was doing out there. He was rebuking cats. That's why he spoke to a multitude on the sea and nobody stayed. When he came back. When he came to the shore, nobody asked him any questions. They all left. Yeah, he was rebuking people with all authority. Respect of the Most High. Read says, let no man despise thee. Give me Matthew chapter 12 and verse 30. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 30. Because once again, we're going over this to show you the true black Jesus, the true Yahushua, the man that we're supposed to be, or he's our example, who we're striving to be with his power and authority. Once again, this is the thing going on right now in this world. Just for a side note, just the effeminate of the black man, Hispanic, and Native American is crazy out here.
Oh my God.
They're trying to put on this soft spirit upon us. We got tight jeans. You walking with a twitch. You holding your girl's purse.
Thank you.
Listen, that's not what men do. Give me that. What scripture did I just ask for?
Mark, Matthews, chapter.
You know, the point you just made there, it's almost like, and I know, some people say, well, Hebrew Israelites are kind of over-aggressive. Nah, it's not that we're over-aggressive. Like, if you look at the brothers speaking on the street, and then you pull them to the side, they're going to speak to you in a respectful way, unless you're belligerent. But when they're teaching the word, they're delivering that with the power and authority that's needed, and until, once again, you get belligerent. So there's got to be a difference, because what we think and look at as priests like far different. Because what we know as priests these days, that's why nobody looks at you as a priest. You're a priest. You know what I mean? Why are you doing this, or why are you doing that? You know, you don't know. You don't even know really what a priest is. And they first look at your face. You know what I mean? You got a beard. What happens?
Right. Are you Israelite?
Yeah, you're a Muslim.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? That's how they look at it. So they look at your face. They look at how you dress. Well, you a priest. Why you dress like that? Because all the priests have to be effeminate. They have to dress like the white man taught them to dress. Coming over here in America, the 3-piece suit, right? With the tie. Baby face.
Buttered lip.
You know what I mean? Butter lip, for real. It's serious, man. Yeah, bro, go look at these Christians. If for some reason they top lip is always wet. It's like they didn't top it off the whole congregation. It's a real effeminate nature in Christianity, and that, I'm not making that up. We was at the fair. Because here's the thing. I'm going to accept you the way you are. That's Christianity. So, we know you down low, but we're not going to say nothing. You see what I'm saying? So, it's that faggot spirit that's intermingled in Christianity. And then they got the boys in there and mingled in that. And so, when we come with this, you know, and I'm not saying be over masculine, you know, turbo Israelite. I'm not saying that, but we come with this masculine spirit, this authority. They automatically want to shut down from that, you know, because how we speak and how we carry ourselves. That's why I was saying, you know, I be telling a lot of brothers, like when we go out, you can't be one time talking the scriptures and the next time you cursing up a storm, because that automatically to them shuts us out of being believers. So we got to be aware, okay, if I'm over here speaking the scriptures and giving this dude a flyer, and then you come back and be like, yeah, them son of mother, they're going to be like, yeah, these cats ain't for real. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, and it'd be something simple as that, where they're trying to interpret us by our look and how we dress and act. And then that little thing of bad language gives them to like shut down, you know. So and I'm not talking about like they try to say like ass is a curse, and I'm talking about full-fledged cursing like mother, and yeah, this whole you're going through a whole line of. I'm not, you know, we definitely still have to use words that are going to get your attention. You know what I mean?
Good.
You know, you might not call a person a hoe, but you might say, you got hoe tendencies. You might not say, brother, you're acting like a faggot, but that's homosexual. You know, you see the way we word things is going to get our message relayed too. So, you know, go ahead, Al.
Come. Give me Matthew chapter 12. Actually, you know what? Do this for me. I like what you just said right there. Give me, just to show you exactly where Christ, number one, it came down his line, tribe of Judah, how we acted, the manner of persons that we were. Once again, we hold ourselves as royalty, because we are royalty. Give me 1 Solomon chapter 16, verse 18. Just to show you how one of his forefathers rolled around, how they seen him. 1 Samuel chapter 16. Oh yeah, 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 18. Read that.
1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 18. Give me a con when you got it.
Con.
And this is just to show you how Christ's lineage, how his forefathers handled themselves. You read that.
Con. 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 18. Then answered one of the servants and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse.
So just to show you, just to tell you what's happening right here, Saul is asking his servants for somebody to play an instrument for him. So they're saying they found somebody for him. Read.
I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite.
Read.
that is cunning in playing.
Okay, so he can play an instrument. He's a multiverse. He can do multiple things. Read.
And a mighty valiant man.
Yeah, a mighty valiant man, very trustworthy. This individual has high morals. Read.
And a man of war.
And he can fight, defend himself, take down whoever he may take down. Read.
And prudent in matters.
Yeah, prudent in matters. This man can hold a conversation. This man can speak about multiple things, sciences, mathematics. Read.
And a comely person.
Yeah, and a beautiful person. Read.
And the Lord is with him.
Yeah, and the Lord and the Most High is with him. This is the same way Yahushua was. He was cunning. He was a mighty, valiant man. A man of war, prudent in all matters. So once again, Christ dealt just like David dealt as well. Now give me Matthew chapter 12 and verse 30.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 30.
Read that.
He that is not with me is against me.
Yeah, Christ went right to the point. Listen, read that again.
He that is not with me is against me.
Christ told him, he who is not with me is against me. Read.
And he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad.
Yeah, once again, so Christ was straight to the point. And a lot of times, a lot of people like to go around the, what do they call it? Nitpick, not nitpick, but
beat around the bush.
Beat around the bush. No, Christ like, listen, if you ain't with me, because it's actually talking about the Pharisees. Whenever they said that he was on Beelzebub's side, he's a demon rebuking demons. He was like, nah, listen, if you're not with me, you're against me. Give me Luke chapter 19 verse 21.
Let me throw this in one in here. I know this is speaking on Christ, and we're talking about this characteristic of how the men should be. I just want to throw this one in there to show that, the women of Israel were modest, were humble, were meek, but they still had vigor and life to them. So I just want to throw this one in there just for the sisters at Exodus 1 verse 19. Just because, we're touching on Christ, and we know that because no woman's supposed to be doing this. Like that one was telling me that they were passing out flyers out there over there in Trinidad the other day, and these Jehovah Witness. He said the women were stronger than the men. That they were trying to shut. No, hold on. They was like brothers.
Like Shema.
So we know they don't supposed to be like that. First of all, a woman don't supposed to usurp authority over men. But just to show that even our women had a strong character in order. And every time I read this scripture, I think of, remember Leonidas in 300, his wife? You know how she was in order with Leonidas? She wasn't shaking her head and being disrespectful, but she had a backbone to stand for her nation. And I look at that and see, okay, you can kind of get a shade of what the Most High is showing us of how our women were. Or, excuse me, that movie. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 1 verse 19.
Uh-huh.
And the midwife said unto Pharaoh,
right,
because the Hebrew women are not as Egyptian women.
Right.
For they are lively,
uh-huh,
and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them.
Right. So these women, it was talking about the life and the vigor of how they brought forth children and things of that nature. But this was all also about how our women were different. They were different in character, in standard, and how they talked, and they were still strong, but in order. Imagine that, a strong, black, Hispanic woman, still able to deliver the word, stand up for the Most High, but yet be in order. It is possible, and that's what the Most High wants. Sometimes we think, and the sisters think that, oh no, she has to be dumb, docile, and a mute. No. Order don't mean dumb. Respectful don't mean docile. Discipline don't mean stupid. It just means that you have a high character and standard, and you know you have humility. But at the same time, you know your boundary. The women knew their boundary. You see that? But they were still different from the Egyptian women. You see that? You weren't like the African women. They try to talk about the women, Egypt, and we go back to Egypt and the Egypt men and the Egypt women. No, Israelites, we have more power, vigor, more life in us because we have the Spirit of the Most High on us. Yeah, nowadays we act like the nations, but back then you can see that even the women have more life and more spirit to them. All right? Go ahead, jump back. I just wanted to throw that one in there for the sisters. All right?
Give me Matthew chapter...
Wait.
No.
Go ahead. No,
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 14.
Right.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country.
So once again, this is about the parable of the talents, all right? Read.
Who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods.
Read.
And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1.
Yes, we already understand the story, all right? Jump down to 25 to get to the root of the story. Read.
God, verse 25. And I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him.
Right, so first of all, this is a parable. But if you read the parable, you know this is Christ. Okay? This is Christ. That's what the point he's showing you, that the character in this parable is showing you the example of how Christ did. Now, first of all, this individual told him, I was scared. So what type of vibration, spirit did Christ have to have on him to be like, I was scared of you? You got to think about it. It wasn't what we see. You know, yes, you don't supposed to be feared, but at the same time, they weren't playing with Christ. You see that?
Gone.
They weren't like, just like, oh, you know what, I can't look upon him. But at the same time, they weren't playing with him. You see that?
Gone.
So he feared. Go ahead.
And his Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sow not.
Look at the tone he's in. Thou what?
Thou wicked and slothful servant.
When the Most High cast some of us Israelites into hell, you think he's going to go nice?
No. Like, come with me.
Yeah, come with me, my child. You're going into hell. Right? You think he's going to do that? He's going to grab you by the throat. These angels are going to grab you by the throat and be vicious. I like that movie Ghost. That's a real good representation of how you think about the angels grabbing somebody and pulling you into hell. So you can see the character that was on Christ was vigorous, it was strong, it was masculine, right? To where the servant was like, I fear you, right? Go ahead.
Thou knewest that I reap where I sow not.
Right, you knew I was this individual that ran stuff. You knew that I gave you my things to build and to perform and to grow. Right? And you know why I like this class, Doc? Because a lot of brothers and sisters don't understand how much we're supposed to fear Christ. That when it says the fear of the Lord, we're supposed to fear him. He's not coming back as the lamb no more, as the lamb led to the slaughter. He's coming back as the angry lamb. He's coming back as the angry lamb. It tells you in Revelations where his vesture shall be dipped in blood. Right? He's going to be swinging and asking questions later. You understand? So this is who we have to fear. He's not going to come back like the church has taught us, floating on a gay pink cloud and touching everybody and saying, come with me, my child.
He's like doing this.
It says in Isaiah 34 that his sword shall be bathed in heaven. You think that's he's doing that in a very effeminate tone? No, he's coming through. Hell nah. These angels, man, you gotta think about it, man. If you look at it, it's gonna be fierceness. It says, woe be to you that desire the day of the Lord. That's what this is talking about. His day, thou wicked and slothful servant. Go ahead.
Can I just get one point?
Yeah.
Just talking about the angels. The scriptures say as a king is so as the officers, right?
Right.
Check this out. This is just going back into that Hades, talking about the angels.
Right.
You go kicking and screaming. It says, but as to the unjust, they are dragged by force to the left hand by angels allotted for punishment.
Right.
No longer going with their good will, but as prisoners driven by violence.
And that's what it goes when it goes right back to the apocrypha. Says the same
thing. So it's not going to be hugs, kisses, and birthday wishes.
Right. It says knowing therefore the terror of the Lord we persuade men. When do you put terror and Jesus together? The terrorist Christ.
When you actually
He's coming back. That's the real terrorist. He's finna put terror on the whole world. But when we look at these parables and when we look at this character in there, we don't really look at it that way. You know, like, you're going to be screaming. Right? Go ahead.
I sow not, and gather where I have not straw. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury.
Yeah, that's it. So Christ wants more than what he gave you. Christ wants that. Give me Matthew chapter 22 and verse 16 just on this point. About how Christ, listen, read this. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 16.
Matthew chapter 22 verse 16. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Hermodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true.
Read.
And teachest the way of God in truth.
Read.
Neither carest thou for any man.
Read that again.
Neither carest thou for any man.
Christ, listen, he had no respect for persons. Yeah. If you was wicked, listen, you was wicked. You're going to get rebuked, cut, reproved, and back onto the path that you're supposed to be on. But that just shows you once again that Christ came with the same idea and method as the Most High did, or as the Most High has been in the past with the prophets.
You got to think about it. He didn't whoop us and put us in a corner. Now, I was reading to y'all the other day out of that book by the Dominican friar Bartholomew de la Casa, right? It says that they ripped the women. They took the babies out of the belly and bashed them against trees. And they were feeding them to the dogs. That's God. God did that. The Most High did that. That's not a power that to be played with. You know, remember, go back to the scriptures. He put us to these things and left us into the hands of the wicked to almost where we were gone. See? Why do you think he's mad at Esau? He said in Obadiah what? Yeah, because of that violence. Like, hey, I told you to rule over them, but y'all went too damn far. Right? So now he has to get him for what he's did. So you have to see, man, the power that we're dealing with. We're not dealing with this lovey-dovey person, right? And everything's going to be all right. You're dealing with an austere man.
You know what's wild? Even in the long suffering, and hopefully I'm not throwing it off, but even in the long suffering of the Most High, you're going through something that you don't want to go through.
Right.
You're going through something that hurts. That's why the scriptures come back and says no chastisement for the present is joyous. Because the way the Most High does things is still harsh.
Right.
Well, harsh to our standard.
Right.
But the Most High knows what it's going to bring out of us. It's supposed to bring that virtue out of us and make us better. You see that? So,
but you're thinking like, you're a mean father.
Yeah.
It's like Noah. Yeah, it's like my kids.
Yeah, it's like you're a meanie. Like that's what you think. You're a meanie. I'm like, No, I'm not. I'm here to die.
Right, yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not.
And it hits you.
Yeah.
You know, but the Most High knows what's best for us, and you know what's best for them.
Right.
You know, but you're still vigorous. You're still hard. You're still, you know, a man about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, Esau comes with that effeminate ass spirit, man.
Yeah, like time out.
Yeah, time out or.
Why, Becky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and don't. We're not talking about compassion. You try to mix it up. They're just compassionate. No, they're not. They're straight homosexual spirited. And that's what has been inbred. How do we know that? Because that's what we're becoming. And when I say we're, not us in here, but our people.
Yeah.
How do we know what spirit they're coming in? Because look at our people out here. Just take a glance. It said the Most High, if he wouldn't save a certain elect, we'd be as Sodom and Egypt. We'd be faggots and lesbians. Right? So, I'm not drawing this out the air. The scriptures tell us that. Y'all see that?
Come on.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, finish that up, Matthew chapter 22 and verse 16.
And that, verse 17. Verse 16. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of God in truth. Neither carest thou for any man.
Yeah, neither carest thou for any man. I want to put that out there. Somebody give me Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. It says, neither cares for any man. Obviously, he's talking about, what is he talking about? What is he not caring about? What do y'all think? What do y'all think he does not care about? Go ahead.
You don't care about your excuses.
You don't care about your excuses, your emotions. Go ahead.
Yeah. Your feelings, your emotions, what you think,
right?
How you feel, none of that.
Right. Yeah, because you're the patient. You don't understand what you need. Give me Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1.
That's why this scripture says what this says. Read.
Cry aloud, spare not.
Spare not what?
Their feelings.
Their feelings. Read.
Lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Read.
And show my people their transgression.
Read.
And the house of Yaakov their sins.
And once again, so he cares for no man. Why? Because we're crying out loud and showing our people their transgression. We don't care if it's somebody that you may like. Nah, if they're off, they're off. Once again, if they're going out of the way, listen, you're going to have to correct them and bring them back. Give me John chapter 15 and verse 14. Once again, we're just going over the attributes of Christ, man. How he was in the scriptures, how he dealt on his militant side. And once again, these are the same attributes that we should have in our life as well. It's being stand up, understanding how the Most High's mind works. Read.
John chapter 15, verse 14. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you.
Yeah, Christ was like, listen, you're my friend if you do what I tell you to do. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. He says, you are my friend. You are my friend if you do what I command you to do. Give me John chapter 14 and verse 6.
Chapter 14, verse 6.
Read.
Yahweh saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Read.
No man cometh unto the Father but by me.
Yeah, because Christ was leading them the right way. That's why Christ said that. Ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you.
God.
Give me Matthew chapter 8 and verse 31.
Matthew chapter 8.
Matthew chapter 8 and verse 31.
Give me a comment, y'all got it?
Come on.
Matthew chapter 8, verse 31. So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd.
So I jumped right to the point. This is Christ was walking somewhere, and these spirits that were upon a man or two men, they jumped out and didn't let Christ pass. Read.
So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine.
Yeah, read. There you the power of the Most High. Read.
And he said unto them, go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea.
Once again, they didn't want to deal with Yahushua Christ, because he came with this authority spirit. He commanded them to get out of his way. Yahushua had somewhere to go to. And that's just like in our lives. Listen, we got people that want to hold us down from what we got to do. Listen, you have to move around, because I can't deal with that. But once again, this is the authority that Yahushua Christ came in. Once again, think about your own lives. What you might have going on in your life that's a roadblock. Somebody trying to hold you back. Give me John chapter 18 and verse 1.
John chapter 18.
John, go ahead. John chapter 18 and verse 1.
St. John chapter 18 verse 1.
And these are all good scriptures, because once again, these show where Christ was showing power all throughout the Bible. But these are specific instances where Christ was showing up and showing out. Read that.
St. John chapter 18 verse 1. When Yahushua had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Cedron, where was a garden, into the which he entered, and his disciples, and Judas also, which betrayed him, knew the place, for Yahushua oftentimes resorted thither with his disciples.
Read.
Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, coming thither with lanterns.
So once again, they're talking about the Roman armies. The Roman army was coming to get Christ. This is when they came to arrest Christ with Judas. It says a band. What does it say? A band of what? Read that.
Oh, slide. Verse 3. Having received a band of men.
Yeah, a band of men. If you look up the word of band, it says the band of Roman soldiers referred to and elsewhere was the 10th part of a legion. So a band was a 10th part of a legion. It was called a cohort. So basically it was 400 to 600 men that came after Christ. You got to ask the question, why did they have so many men to take one person? God, Christ was a powerful man and known to be powerful. Read.
A band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees.
Read.
Coming thither with lanterns and torches.
Yeah, so they came after Christ. They came looking for him. Read.
This is the first account when a black man was going to be beaten down by cops.
Right?
Wow.
Let me stop. Let me stop. But no, you see how... Yeah, this is the KKK coming at him. No, but you see how they came after him, right? That's how much power he had. They were scared of him, man. One man. He was rolling with 12 apostles. He was rolling with 12 apostles.
Peter on deck.
Yeah. But at the same time, the power, they all was rolling in. Because Peter was ready. All the apostles were ready. Right? Go ahead.
Read.
And torches and weapons. Yahushua therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, Whom seek ye?
So Christ came up and asked him, listen, who are you looking for? Read.
Then answered him, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua said unto them, I am he.
Yes, we already said, I am he. Read.
And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with them.
Right? Yeah, Judas is right there with him. Read.
As soon then as he had said unto them, I am he.
Hold on. Read that again.
As soon then as he had said unto them, I am he.
He said 3 words. I am he. Read.
They went backward.
Yeah, they all fell over. 400 to 600 men fell over to 3 words. This is the power of Yahushua. Listen, how do we speak? I'm not saying you got to yell and scream, but listen, do you have authority in your voice when the authority has to be shown? Listen, he wasn't scared. 600 men. It said they fell back. Read.
And fell to the ground. Then asked he them again, Whom seek ye?
Right. Now the other scripture, when you read about this account, it says that he said, I am he, and held out his hand. And they all fell backward. There's the same account. Yeah, it's in another gospel. Yeah, it says, watch, we can find it. Yeah, but he put out his hand, and they all fell backward. So yeah, the power and the force that Christ was rolling with, he definitely left an example of, you know, how to really apply the Spirit of the Most High. It wasn't in this soft way all the time. You know, for him, none of the time. It would probably was forced in everything he did. You're talking about the Son of the Most High. Listen, this is the power, this is the entity that came down from the throne of the Most High. So you're dealing with a power, man, that was not to be played with. You know, he could have, think about it, he could have called angels, he could have destroyed the Roman Empire, but he humbled himself and fashioned himself like a man. Y'all see that?
Come on.
He's not coming back like that. Go ahead. Oh, did you find the other one?
Where we at?
Where are we at right now?
We're at St. John chapter 18 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
Verse 8. Yahushua answered. It's verse 7. Then asked he them again, whom seek ye?
Yeah, think about it, man. If you actually picture that in your brain, he let them know, listen, I'm him. Then he asked again, he said, I'm him, they all dropped. Then he said again, listen, who you coming to get? Listen, that's how you know Yahushua was a bad man with all authority. Give me Matthew chapter 16 and verse 21. Matthew chapter 16.
Matthew chapter 16 and verse 21.
Read that.
You get a copy? Y'all got it?
Done.
Matthew chapter 16 verse 21. From that time forth began Yahushua to show unto his disciples.
So Christ is with his disciples right now.
Yeah.
There's an instance that's going to happen. Read.
How that he must go unto Jerusalem.
Read.
And suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes.
Yeah, so Christ was going to get crucified. He was foretelling how he's actually about to get killed. Read.
And be killed. And be raised up again the third day.
Read.
Then Peter took him
Uh-huh.
and began to rebuke him.
Yeah, so Peter tried to correct Christ. Like, listen, now you can't go, master. Please don't go. You can't go up there. We still need you. Read.
Saying, be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee.
Yeah, so Peter's trying to plead with him. Listen, don't go. Please don't go. What did Christ say? Read.
But he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me.
Listen, Christ had a mission and he had to go somewhere. This is his right-hand man that in the last scripture cut off one of the centurion's ear. He said what to him?
Get thee behind me.
Who?
Get thee behind me.
Read.
Satan.
Yeah. Christ said, listen, Peter, you got a demon upon you, Satan. Christ told Peter that he had a demon on him. Read.
Thou art an offense unto me.
Yeah, because of the way he was acting. Read.
For thou savorest not the things that be of Yahweh.
Read.
But those that be of men.
Yeah, because he's not dealing with emotions. Christ knew that he had a job to do, and he had to do it. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 14. Christ understood that he was not dealing with emotions. He was doing the will of his Father.
1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 14.
Read.
But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit.
Yeah, a lot of these men don't understand what Christ was doing. Because they were all in their emotions. Oh, Christ, you're my best friend. You gave us all this word. You can't go nowhere. I need you. Emotional. Read.
Of God. For they are foolishness unto him.
Yeah, they truly don't know. Why? Read.
Neither can he know them.
Read.
Because they are spiritually discerned.
They didn't understand why Christ had to do what he had to do. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 15. Or keep reading.
Verse 15. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things.
Yeah, he could have sat back. Listen, this had to come to pass, Peter. But at that moment in time, he was in his emotions, and Christ had to rebuke that. Read.
Yet he himself is judge of no man.
Yeah, once again, Christ is the same way. Christ knew what he had to do, and he wasn't going to have Peter sway him from doing what he had to do. He knew what he had to do. Give me Philippians chapter 4 and verse 6. Because Peter was rolling in the spirit of being afraid. Had a little anxious spirit on him.
Philippians chapter 4 and verse 6.
Read.
Be careful for nothing.
Yeah, when it says be careful for nothing, that means be not anxious. All these funny feelings about something that's that's about to come up. You're not all the way there with your mind's not all the way there. Read.
But in everything, by prayer and supplication.
Yeah, that's what Christ did. He prayed over everything. He went into the wilderness to pray. Read.
With thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God.
Right. Once again, Christ was not anxious for anything. Give me Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 25. Actually, skip that. Give me John chapter 5 verse 26.
John chapter 5 verse 26.
So we're understanding that Christ came in a militant spirit in his Bible. He dealt like a man of the Most High. He was emotionless. He still dealt with emotions because he understood the people. But when it came to doing the will of the Most High, nothing could stop him. Not his own disciples, not the spirits that came in his way. None of that. He had to raise his he had to raise the notch up a little bit, raise the fire up. Give me John chapter 5 and verse 26.
John chapter 5 verse 26.
Can I say one thing? You know why when a lot of people watch this, it seems so, if you want to use the word far-fetched, or it seems so like, how come he was like this? Just think about how far we are away from what we used to be. We once used to roll like this. Before all the slaveries and the takeovers and the captivities, we used to roll just like Christ, where we were men of war. When you read about the tribes, and the Most High was breaking down the tribes, and he was like, Gad, they were proficient with the bow and arrow, men of valor, men of war. He goes into Dan, he goes into Judah. We were all men of war, proficient with instruments of war, proficient in our household. We all rolled in this spirit up until a certain point when we just wanted to be homosexuals and faggots, you know, and be soft and leave off from the Most High. So it's not
be raised by a mother.
Be mama's boys, be simps, be mama's boys again 3 times over. But it's not a far-fetched thing. It's not something hard to grasp when you really look at our history and you look at the Most High. If we created an image of the Most High, everything we did was after the fashion of the way the Most High and Christ did things. Imagine when the Most High sends those angels out. You think he's suggesting? Like, oh, y'all should go out and do this. Y'all should go out and destroy this land and destroy Texas in a hurricane. You think he's suggesting it? Nah, he's like, go. It's commandment, and they're doing con, and they're going out. So it's all militant.
Yeah. And I like that. Give me John chapter 5 and verse 26 for the last scripture.
St. John chapter 5 verse 26.
And this is just to add as well, once again, Christ had that authority. God gave him the authority. Actually, go ahead and read.
For as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself.
Yeah. So God gave Christ an order. Read.
And hath given him authority to execute judgment also.
Yeah, Christ is going to execute judgment. Christ has the authority from the Most High. And once again, that was given to us as well. The authority through these scriptures to teach these scriptures. To get our people right.
God.
Read.
Because he is the Son of Man.
Yeah, so Christ wasn't this soft individual. No, Christ was a prudent man. He was very valiant. He was very versed in matters. But as well, listen, he's the one that's going to be executing judgment.
Yeah, and what he's showing you is right there is like, you got to think about somebody that executes judgment. You have to have a character about you. You have to have a strong stomach to have to do what Christ is going to come back and do. You know, but he's not going to have mercy on the wicked. That's the strong stomach. He's not having mercy on the wicked, the profane, the rebellious, the stubborn, the stiff-necked. Right? That's why it's going to be easy, because he's going to be able to say, I've given you grace all the way through.
It's like I gave you chances.
Yeah, you know, you get these people, man, that want to condemn themselves. You know what? I'm just wicked. I guess I'm just filthy. Okay, now what? You cried? Get back up. Let's get back in the battle, because unless Christ comes back, you have grace all the way till then. You messed up. you don't even have the right to condemn yourself. You don't have the right. It says his power is to condemn you. You trying to take his power from him. You understand that?
Come.
So you get a lot of Israelites that go into that mode. And I know it might not be a lot of y'all out there, but there's some that, you know what, I'm just not good enough. I'm just filthy and wicked. I guess the Most High just don't want me. You think that's a legitimate excuse? Like you're going to psychologically psych him out with the sadness. It's like, it ain't going to work like that. You're going to be like, okay, you psyched yourself out. You were supposed to do what I told you to do. What?
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
On that? Just on like the condemning yourself, right?
Yeah.
Just like on the condemning yourself.
Yeah.
It says a righteous man falls 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're walking with Yahweh Shai, he picks you up.
Right.
So it's like the only way you don't get back up is if you weren't walking with him.
Right.
Because he's gonna pick you back up.
Right.
It's like when he told, I was reading it today. It's
Right.
like when Peter was walking on water with him.
Right.
When Peter started to sink, he called.
Right.
And Christ picked him up.
Right.
So it's like if you're falling, you're supposed to call.
Right.
Call for help. Ask for help.
Right.
And then your Most High is gonna pick you back
He's
up.
good. And then he sent that brother or that sister
God.
to pick you back up. Right? Woe to him that is left alone when he falls, who would be there to pick him up.
God.
Right? It says the wicked fall into mischief. How does it go? A righteous man falleth 7 times, but the wicked fall into mischief.
Yeah.
See? Why? Because a righteous man is going to fall and get back up. A wicked man is going to continue down this mischievous, ignorant path. Because he's saying, you know what? Since I fell, there's no reason to change. There's no reason to get back in the battle. You know, so you gotta know, man, that even in that, you gotta pick yourself up, keep fighting. All right, we got any questions online? Any questions in class? What's that?
Someone had a question online on the topic.
Yeah.
They said at Matthew 16:23,
Yeah.
My Living Bible calls Peter the rock to build his church.
Yeah.
Upon in Matthew 16:18,
Uh-huh.
and now Jesus calls him the devil. I'm not sure of my question, but I'm confused.
Okay, well, he had demons on him. First of all, thou hast a devil. It's showing you that you're out of the spirit now. He wasn't saying he is the devil. He said, in the other scriptures, thou savorest not the will of the Most High. Show you that. Now, Peter let that spirit take over him. That's all that is. Like, we have people amongst us. You can be in the spirit. You can be moving with wisdom, right? But if you let pride get out of you, pride is the beginning of one parts from the Father, right? So now you're out of the spirit. So what spirit has taken hold of you? A negative spirit, an evil spirit, Satan. So it doesn't mean that, you are Satan. It means now you're walking in that demonic spirit. And that's what he was reminding Peter. So he was the rock. What's so beautiful about it is this, that the Most High is showing us this. You can fall, you can make mistakes. Let's get it. We quoted it, but we didn't get it. Righteous man falls 7 times. Get that one real quick.
Proverbs chapter
24 verse
Don't look for him.
16.
Don't look for him, huh?
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 16.
Don't look for him, brother. You get that scripture? You know what I mean? Y'all got to stop looking for it, of the other cat to get it. Just get it.
God, yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Listen. You got the cats that lapped with their mouth, and you got the cats that did it with their hands. It says the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. When I was y'all age, I wasn't worried about the next brother. I was blazing the brothers up, getting the scriptures, adding precepts. The saints of the Most High, the slothful shall be under tribute. The diligent shall bear rule. So you got to just get it. Don't wait on the brother. Like, is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? Certain cats are meant just to sit here. That's what they want to do. The other cats are going to be the leaders, and they're going to blaze the path. You know what I mean?
God.
All right, go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 16.
Go ahead.
For a just man falleth 7 times.
So what did Peter do? He fell. Christ corrected him and said, listen, Peter, you talking all that mess, but when the cock crows thrice, you're going to deny me. So that's another place where what? Peter was checked and corrected. But you're right. He still said, upon this rock I'll build my church. Why? Because Peter was the man. Even though he had imperfections, he was going to increase to this spiritual leader that was going to lead those apostles. So that was fine. Christ knew that. But this is a perfect example that just because you fall, you mess up, that don't mean you're out for the count. You understand?
Come on.
See, what makes you righteous? What makes you righteous? Because we're all sinners. Peter was a sinner. No, but what makes you righteous? What?
What makes you righteous is the effort that you're putting in.
That you keep fighting. He that endured to the end. See, we're already all in the sinner bag. Now, not wicked, but sinners. Wicked, they practice wickedness on their bed, it says. That's different. But we're sinners, so we're fighting and striving for perfection. What makes you wicked? Go to one of my favorite scriptures, John 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world. It's 17, actually. I just wanted to say 16.
John chapter 3.
John 17.
John chapter 3 and verse 17.
Uh-huh.
For God sent not his son into the world
to
condemn the world.
Right. So he didn't send Christ. He didn't send Christ that time he came. He didn't send him to condemn the world. Go ahead.
But that the world through him might be saved.
Right. So the point of this word is for salvation. So you can live in righteousness and do righteousness and be called righteous in the end. Go ahead.
Verse 18. He that believeth on him is not condemned.
Right.
But he that believeth not is condemned already.
So you talking about there's no Christ and the Most High didn't need nobody to do his work. You're done already. Why? Because you're not believing in the messenger. Go ahead.
Because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son.
Right. Read.
Of the Most High.
Go ahead.
19. And this is the condemnation.
Right. Go ahead.
That light is come into the world.
So, when are you condemned? You're condemned when the light is there. You're being shown. Listen, that's wrong. That's off. You don't supposed to be this way. Go ahead.
And men loved darkness.
Yeah. You know what? I guess I'm just wicked then. I'm gonna always be wicked then. Right. We got that. Let's give some light. The light says change. Put off the old man, put on the new man that's renewed in knowledge. Peter was righteous because when he was shown the light the right way, go ahead.
And men love darkness.
He didn't love darkness. He didn't say, Christ, they're never going to touch you. Every year, chop, 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 suey. He didn't do that. The Most High Christ corrected him, and Peter went back, got in order, and checked himself. He messed up again. Check. Get right. See, when the light is given, you're supposed to move into the light. Not fall into the mischief. I guess I'm just wicked, so let me be mischievous and demonic. No, you're supposed to acknowledge Yahweh, I acknowledge my transgressions and my sins are ever before you. Psalm 51, right? Our favorite chapter, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Our sins are ever before you. I acknowledge my transgression. That's what Peter did. Go ahead.
And men love darkness.
Right, but what happens is the condemnation comes when you love darkness. You don't want to be seen. You put that flashlight on and it's like, I'm melting. You're like, sister, brother, no, brother, what the, no. It's like you transforming, your nails grow, teeth turn green. You know what I mean?
They just hide.
The hat comes up, you start to turn into a witch, and you start melting. Right? Because why? Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. Right?
Done.
But a wise man foreseeth the evil, and goeth not that way. So you start to see, okay, yep, and Scripture's true. I don't like how he brought it out, but I know Christ is an austere man, bold, and sometimes aggressive, so I get that. But the word is true. Let me get out my emotions. Let me correct my way. Peter got out of his emotions, and he corrected his way. Go ahead.
And men love darkness rather than light.
Go ahead.
Because their deeds were evil.
You see? So Peter's deeds were evil, but he didn't keep doing evil. Go ahead.
Verse 20.
Uh-huh.
For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light.
There you go. That's why when you put that flashlight on some people, they like, you want to see exorcists? Man, I done seen literal exorcists on brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? They spaz out, they like twitching, and they don't know. Then they start blurting things out. They start denying Christ, right? That's how you know, right? You know, just like those demons. What did they do? What we have to do with you. You start pulling out, all right, I'm not going to argue with you. Get your Bible. No, put the Bible away. It's like, what the? Brother, you all right? No, it's not your brother. Like, bro, you just believed in the Bible. You see that? But that demon gets on you, and it takes over you. You know, now, this is not saying keep playing with it. Keep playing with those spirits, because once those spirits latch on, they might take on you and then put that doubt in you and what? Turn your heart, and then you're what? You're not Peter anymore, you're who? Judas. Now whoa, why you gotta be done like that, Christ? Why this, Christ? Why that way, Christ? Why that? I don't see this, but I'm not sure about that. Double-minded, unstable, lost, toss with every wind. It's like I can tell you, it's a consistent cycle. We can tell you from the beginning a brother walks in to the brother leave. We can tell you what took him off the path, what took her off the path. Why? Because it's not because we're magicians. It's because the Bible tells you how that mind goes. They start to deny the light. They don't want to be corrected anymore. They don't want to be told. You see? Go ahead.
For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light.
Right.
Neither cometh to the light.
Yeah, they don't want to see the light. It's like, first of all, you came to the Israelites and you were like, yeah, I believe in the Bible. But now, all of a sudden, you don't want to what? You don't want to open that Bible no more. It's like, what happened? Oh, I don't want to deal with ISB, HBK. Oh, okay, we're not dealing with them. Let's deal with the Bible. Then you just pull one scripture and what happens? They start to melt. They start to reject. They start to deny. Without the whole camp standing there, it'd be you and them. And they deny because they're not about the light. They're not about righteousness. You can fake, you can act, you can front, all you want. If you're about the righteousness, then why you ain't listening to the word? Why you don't take time out to say, wait a minute, tell me what you're going to say then. Maybe I'm tripping. All right, here. Let's go here, 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 here. A wise man will consider, right? But a fool, they don't look. They don't consider. They get puffed up. Go ahead. And I'm just showing you what Deans kept Peter in and why he was the rock. Because he considered. All these scriptures I'm saying and all the scriptures we're reading, he considered. He fell, he got back up, he didn't fall into mischief. Go ahead.
At least his deeds should be reproved.
Right. You see that? So the righteous hear, so his deeds can be reproved. The wicked, they don't want to hear no more. That's why when a lot of people leave, what do? They shut everything off. You think they watching class when they gone? Yeah, well, you watch because it was in you. That's how you know the word was in you. You might have been corrected and checked, right? But the reason why you're back is because you knew it was nothing personal. You know, like the brother said to you, what did anybody do to you? You have to sit there and be like, nothing. I'm in my emotions. You see that? But that's because you're following this. The ones that don't want to hear it, they literally turn off the lights, bro. They shut everything off. I don't want to hear the Bible. I don't want to hear nothing about Hebrew. I don't want to hear nothing. Why? Because when they hear the scriptures, it's going to haunt them. You see that? And what did it do to you? It haunted you because it was in you. You see that? And it haunts them, and they don't want to hear that. They want to be like Adam. Where are you, Adam? Amongst the trees, hiding. Right? What are you doing? Where are you at? Where are you supposed to be? Right? So he dressed himself up to look like all the other nations. Right? I'm gonna dive back in the club. I'm gonna dive back in the hookah bars. I'm gonna dive back in the strip clubs. I gotta do everything I might. That's why they put they Ephraim dress on, men and women. Like, and they get on Facebook and to try to what? Look, I'm free, y'all. I don't believe in the Bible no more, or I'm not dealing with the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, but what happened to believing in the Bible? It shows that they make an open disdain of themselves to show that it ain't got nothing to do with us. It got something to do with, I don't want to hear what the hell they were saying. You understand that? So, but that's it on that. Hopefully that helped you out. That Peter was the rock. He just was a man, and he made mistakes. Just like Peter, Paul, John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, all these men were men. We're men, we're women, we're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. There's none perfect. The scripture said, God, Christ said there's none good. So we're striving for perfection, you know. And that's really one of the problems Israelites get, right? You figure you come to class and then everybody's supposed to be perfect, that you weren't supposed to be offended by this brother, or this brother wasn't supposed to do that, and it don't work like that. Everybody is in here dirty as hell, striving to be perfect. Now, yes, we go to the next stages. Obviously, Peter wasn't doing niggerish stuff like he was doing when he first came in, but he still, all the way to even to the level that Christ was on, what was entering in his mind makes you dirty, right? So you will stop doing wickedness. You move from the level of, I got the taste for pork and pepperonis on pizza, like, that'll leave you. But you'll move to the next stage and the next level. You're not committing adultery. You're not committing a fornication. But you're still sinning. Why? Because even the thought. You look at a big booty in the mall, you're like, ooh, oh. Like in your head. Like you're not committing it, but in your head. So we sin at all levels. But brothers, sisters, you get better as you strive for perfection and cut out. Now that's a negative thought, that's a negative feeling, that's a negative emotion. Y'all see that? So don't ever think that you're going to be perfect in everything. Because there's so much that you have to be perfect in, right? So there's so much more work you have to do to start being perfect on many different levels. So we got to keep striving, right? All right. Any other questions?
So there was one off the topic.
Yeah.
It says, when the world ends, will the people that are left behind when Christ returns and reign, will they look the same in flesh form?
When the world ends, well, you're talking about a whole 3-hour another class, but just to make it easy and sum it up, when you go to Thessalonians and it says the trump, the horn shall be blown, and the dead in Christ shall rise first, and then we're going to meet them up in the sky. According to the scriptures, the Bible, we're going to be delivered out of this land. America, according to Revelations 18, is going to be a continual burning memorial. Christ is going to destroy this place. Babylon is going to be destroyed. Then it says, when you go back into Isaiah 60, Isaiah 2, we're going to go the Most High, before Isaiah 2 and Isaiah 60, Christ said he will plead with us face to face. And I think that's Ezekiel 28. So we're going to be taken up. He's going to plead with us, meaning get us right. The children of Israel, the 144,000, the rebels going to be cast out. And then Isaiah 2 and Isaiah 60 is going to come in effect. That means that the rest of the world has got to be put in order. So remember, the destruction, the very bad misconception is the world is going to go up in the smoke and we're all going to be in the spiritual realm. That's not what's going to happen according to the Bible. According to the Bible, Babylon was going to be destroyed. Revelation, the 18th chapter. It tells you in that chapter, we're even going to be able to see Babylon burning as a continual memorial. So that means that the whole earth is not going to blow up. Babylon's going to be destroyed, but then the whole earth we're going to have to put in order. So that's where he comes in Jeremiah 16:16, said, I shall send for many fishers, then I shall send for many hunters. In that time, when he gets us right, he casts out the rebels, established the order in Israel. We're going to do Isaiah 2 and Isaiah 60, which is Isaiah 2, it says, the law shall go forth from Zion. And Isaiah 60 says, the Gentiles shall come to our light. And then when you read in that chapter, it tells you, all the nations shall bow, and they shall learn the law from Zion. So we're going to have to get the world in order. So Christianity has taught that the whole earth is going to be destroyed, or there's going to be this destruction where we're living in the, I don't know how they say it, we're living in the fourth, and then people are going to be hereafter going through tribulation or whatever. Oh, yeah. Nigga, the tribulation is now. Yeah, the tribulation is now. We're I'm sorry.
It's real.
Yeah, they teach that. The tribulation is going to be now. That's going to lead us up to deliverance. We ain't going to live in another tribulation after that. It tells you when Christ comes back, and we can go over this. I'm just giving you a little synopsis. It tells you when he comes back that the whole earth was going to be at rest and peace. Isaiah the 14th chapter. So when he destroys Babylon, this kingdom, that's when peace is going to reign. Why? Because we're going to go through the earth and bring forth peace in the earth by making all nations bow that will not bow. The ones that after the destruction that haven't submitted and they're still trying to worship a Kaaba stone, calling it Allah, or the Hindus or whatever god they worship, or Hare Krishna or whatever they worship, or whatever religion, the Most High is going to bring it to one name. Right? Okay. And that's Christ is going to be the one everybody's going to bow to. And we're going to be his minions doing his work. All right? And enjoying the kingdom of the Most High after we get them in order. Right? So, yeah, it's a lot. I did a class on that way back. You know, I can do it again. Yeah, I did a 3. It was literally leading up from the last days to Russia, the prophecy of Russia destruction and all that stuff, all the way up to Christ coming, to us being delivered, to what's going to happen after. I went over that. We gotta find that. So, yeah. All right. Hopefully that answered your question for the time being till we get in the scriptures. Go ahead. Anything else? No? All right. So, we'll be here Friday for Sabbath class. Listen, brothers and sisters, for y'all that didn't catch it at the beginning of class, Passover is coming up, all right? And if you brothers and sisters want to help out with the Passover to get the lamb, to get our location, we have every year. We would appreciate your help in donating. We're trying to get about 8 lambs. I mean, it was 7 to 8 lambs or whatever. And then the location, this all costs money. If you want to donate, you can donate to the Wells Fargo account. That's up there. You can wallet us money at isbhbk@gmail. Just note that it is for Passover. Don't put alms if it's for Passover, because alms means that you'll help us pay our lights. If it's for Passover, say put Passover. So we put that to the side. If you want to give any Bibles, pens, pencil, papers, or anything of that nature, you can donate. We would appreciate it. So other than that, everybody salute them online. Say shalom.
Shalom.
And we'll see y'all on the Shabbat. brothers and sisters in here, man, y'all know we're not really dependent on the people